So are we having tea time?
Yeah, we're having tea.
All right. All right. Get ready to watch the most cringeworthy 9 seconds of your entire life. Okay. This is from Real Media Player. Oh, he's not a steel toe guy. Because you have to get the internet. There's no getting the internet. They get to.
Who has to get the internet?
I got the internet going nuts.
You guys are coming up with creative ways of making me a bigger piece of shit.
Kayla's wondering about 1:30 today. I don't want to do 1:30.
I'm going to be busy at 1:30.
Well, it's my truck.
You can take a look. But no, what I'm saying is, I guess if you made a decision, you'd be getting in a different vehicle anyway. I was going to say I can't pick you up.
Can I do like an 11?
If you want to, that's on you. I'm kind of doing something right now, if that's okay.
It was time sensitive.
Jesus Christ. She's like, can we make this appointment right now? I'm like, well,
You know how those things work.
Is that what we're going to do? Like if we ever become surgeons and we're in the middle, she's like, so what do you think? Should I make this?
Who's on Letterman tonight?
I mean, that's kind of what dentists do when they're working on your mouth, I guess.
Yeah.
So
it's not what that dentist did in Law and Order last night, though.
No, he fucked his niece.
He got sperms in her sweater.
Patrick with $50 says, so I have done well north of 250 in the past month. How about a hoodie XL, pretty please? I can't tell you no.
You can message me, April Imholte on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
Patrick, absolutely write to us and get yourself a fucking hoodie, for God's sake.
Where's my pen?
Precisely. You can have a hoodie. Patrick with another $50. Thank you very much, pal. We do appreciate that. Guys, 35 away from KOing today's goal. You're going to do it. We're officially not bringing this out today. This does not get done. 35 away. Thank you very much. These are the show is in the chat right now, I have to admit. Until you dip your fritter in queso, you piggy, says Scoober. Thanks, buddy. Triple N says, holy fuck, these are the confessions of a queso donkey. I should have never said queso donkey.
Queso donkey's weird.
Don't know where that came from. SH says, I've been eating microwaved cheese and tortillas for breakfast for a week. Somebody says, you don't like that Quick Trip bread. Nope. I'm picky on my bread.
I do like quality breads.
Hobo man.
In regard to this situation, right?
What situation?
Kayla
does
not believe that she's a good wife or mother, right?
Wow.
Where are we getting this?
Bored of this guy.
Right. This Kiwi Farms post really goes into like great detail about this.
Yeah.
About how Kayla has these like really deep-rooted insecurities about her ability to provide and her relationship with Nick. Actually in this weird like parasocial relationship, right? In which, Kayla is just kind of there. She just kind of sits around, is zoinked out on pills, right? She does
hanging out a lot, and the families are close, and it's just like, oh, cool, yeah, all right. This kid's hungry.
Kayla helped me get things ready at the house for Charlotte's birthday one time. Ooh. Fucking happens,
Yeah.
The Rekietas wanted to buy her a sex toy or some piece of lingerie or something. They wanted to, Nick and Kayla wanted to buy her something, so we went there. I mean, did I think it was kind of? It was like we just talked on the show and we had fun doing a show together. I don't think it's not anything I'm gearing up for. Tabakai says, did Kayla ever give you any of her magic crystals? I think Kayla's wonderful. I think Kayla Rekieta is a wonderful woman. I think, I hope she gets involved. I hope she gets involved and talks to her husband and says, look, so that was why that one weekend I said I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm having beers. I believe I texted Kayla and I said, I'm having so much fun with my friends. I'm drinking beers. One thing, you ask her, it was another thing. That's how divorces work. You just don't see eye to eye anymore. But I remember I texted Kayla and I said, listen, I'm here with my friends. I really did. I liked doing karaoke though. That was always really fun. And like, again, Nick, Kayla, all of us, like we all had a great time doing karaoke. That was one thing we did. We could all hang out as friends. It was a good time. Plus, if you don't mind me saying, that Kayla can sing her fucking ass off. Holy shit, is she a good singer? I sang a tune or two at Kayla, and oh my God, she put me to shame. She embarrassed me with how good she was. Holy shit. This was really sad. I talked to someone the other day. I talked to someone yesterday. And they said, how'd you meet Nick and Kayla? And I said, well, I met them in October at the show we were going to do with Chrissy. And then, of course, the tragedy with Chrissy's family happened. That was so sad. And Chrissy booked Nick to do a guest set. Or did I? Boy, I can't remember if it was Chrissy or it was me. Could have been either one. And we met them there. And we talked. We hung out after the show. We went to a bar. It was a great time. They came over the next morning. We hung out. We watched a movie, everything else. And then we started hanging out with them after that. April had told people a story that they were her friends, and she introduced them to me. That was remarkably strange to hear. That's some wacky shit. I heard some other stuff that had been said where I mean, it blew my mind, the things that were being said. I'm like, what the fuck? And you just kind of go, okay, well, I guess, here's my thing. In a breakup, everyone gets their truth, as it were. Everyone gets to tell their story. And you can't deny people their story because it's theirs. That, oh, God, I got to really fucking watch it here because I don't want to sling any accusations. She had someone text her when the kids and I left. April didn't spend any time with me, didn't spend any time with the kids. It was fucking weird. I go home with the kids. I go upstairs. Half of my closet is cleaned the fuck out. She dipped. While I was hanging out there, she was at home cleaning out the closet. This was a Friday. And I believe 7 weeks ago tomorrow. And, I'll bring Gino on in a second. And when I got home, and that was awful. Half the closet's cleaned out. Her ring was sitting there in the closet. It was fucking heartbreaking. And I contacted Nick. I contacted Kayla. I said, what the fuck is going on? I sent them pictures. They swore up and down, and I have no proof that they knew, so I don't know. They said, we had no idea she was doing that. I mean, she brought the clothes right to their house afterwards, so I have my suspicion. Man, I have my suspicions about a lot of shit after everything I saw and did and everything else, but that fucking sucked. And that was fucking brutal. And I believe a week later, and I'm almost positive on my timeline here, about a week later was when I sent that text that I won't be coming back. I had a conversation with my kids where my oldest told me, the oldest said, it feels like April's been distant lately, like she doesn't love it, blah, 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 blah. And I was, as soon as my kids told me that, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And she's been gone for a while. I don't recognize her in that picture, guys. I don't recognize her. Kayla, don't recognize her either. Nick's got a black eye. I'm guessing his wife hit him or threw something at him for being such a fucking idiot. Part of me wants to contact every one of their family members and April's, Nick's, Kayla's, and just say, guys, can we just all agree to not bail them out and let them clean up? Everyone is great. We're doing good. I'm healthy. I'm the same person I always was. I'm like, that's not what I asked, but okay. I got a text from Kayla on Monday. And Kayla said to me, she goes, you were right. All of this stuff is destroying us. Up until yesterday, I was doing everything I could. I got a call from a family member of Kayla's. She said, what do I do? Everything you know. And I said, if you get Kayla out of there to a neutral place, I will meet you. I will talk to her with you. This is the best thing for them, and this is the best place for them. You saw Nick the other night. Kayla definitely threw something at his face. I 100% believe that. I believe that bruise is either from the cops arresting him or from Kayla. 100%. Clean. If she has nowhere else to go to get clean, then I'm not going to shut the door on her. I wouldn't shut the door on Kayla. Wouldn't shut the door on April. Nick will be in prison. K-Max McDonald with $5 says, what sentence would you hand to Nick if you were the judge, Aaron? What sentence to Kayla and April? I mean, is that a fair question? Because I'm biased. I don't even know if you can do that. I would sentence her to rehab. Kayla, I mean, she's got the rest of the time. So 10:03 for April. 11:30 for Kayla, 10:08 for Nick. So they might have just been booked differently. That doesn't mean they were arrested at different times. That's before things got so ugly. I'm not. I mean, I'm glad I'm out, but I wish I could have taken someone with me. I was on the phone with one of Kayla's relatives today, and we were planning, like, how do you help? And this is why I think I'll hate Nick forever, and also why I think he needs to go away. Either to a facility to get treatment or to prison. Kayla actually came and apologized and everything else. And then I go to the couch. And Nick had left a fucking bullet container of cocaine where my fucking kids were playing. I picked it up. I unscrewed it. I looked. I said, don't be. It was. I called April down. I said, everybody out of the fucking house. I showed it to her and gave it to her. I said, you take it up there, you get rid of this fucking shit. And then I texted her, I said, everybody out of the fucking house right now. You have no idea how fucking angry I am. April, and April was trying to, like, balance between not hurting Nick's feelings, but being angry that her 4-year-old fucking stepdaughter was within arm's reach of it. On the couch. I was fucking incensed. I got the kids out of the fucking house. I'm waiting until their backs are turned, chucking shit. Oh, man, I was fucking mad. And of all the people to come out, you would think my wife would come out and try to comfort me and say, they're gone. They're out of here. This is done. She went up upstairs where Nick was. Kayla comes out to me, and I go, this has to fucking stop. Either this shit goes or I go. She goes, yes, it has to stop. I know it has to stop. Fights ensued. It was a crazy fucking night. I'll spare you guys the details, but I'll fucking hate the guy forever. For that and other things. For leading 5 kids in a home where he's doing that fucking shit, and every time someone tried to tell him something about it, he'd rationalize the fuck out of it. Where, I can only take Kayla's word for this when she said, hey, we're out. Let's not reload this shit. And him talking her into going and doing it again. He's the leader. He's the man, right? I'm a Christian man with 5 kids and I lead my house and blah, blah, blah. Well, great job. Great. Were you leading your house at 10:08 in the fucking morning, dickhead? Were you leading your house when you gave, people cocaine for the first time? Great job, asshole. Play some Third Eye Blind after the show. Liar, you let drugs around the kids. The fuck I did. The fuck I did, Travis. How fucking dare you? So that's, this arrest, it's funny because every time I fucking say, I'm not going to say anything. Nick does a live stream, forces my hand. Now I have to say something. And then they get arrested. And I'm like, well, this is what they were up to. This is why they need so much help. This is why I'm so busted up over this. Davy Cakes with $1.99. Incredible on MLC. Definitely should do MLC with Sorcerer. I'll think about it. I had fun on MLC. All right, guys, let's clear out of here. I'm sure the farms are very happy. Kind of needed this one a little bit to work through this a little bit with you. I appreciate you being here. I got a lot of people I got to get back to. Nick the Milkman with $5 says, what about the aggressively monogamous comment? Is there more to it? Yeah, we'll get to that another day. I wanted to focus more on the drug part today. I just want people to know how important it is that these people get the fucking help they need, because I tried and I failed. Maybe the legal system can do it, can pick up the slack where I couldn't. But they need help, especially Nick Rekieta needs a shitload of help. I don't think he understands how influential he is over the people around him. Davy Cakes with $4.99 says, you demand. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, look, should I have called the police on him? Perhaps. I don't know. But, yeah, I love how people in the chat don't understand how some asshole bringing that shit into my fucking house, me finding out about it, throwing it the fuck out and getting them out of there, it's me allowing it. You guys are fucking retarded. Claire Stanhope with $2 says, do you regret swinging with pregnant Chrissy Brown? Of course we didn't do that. Jesus Christ. All right, guys, it was this really nice cigar set. And Nick goes, oh, I want her to present your gift to you. And so Kayla got completely naked, came down the stairs. This is at my house. I was seated on the couch. And like Nick was seated on the couch too.
What?
And she brought the gift down to me and like sat on my lap and gave it to me. But like Nick's right there.
Oh
and
my God.
I remember that was fucking weird to me. And then he goes like, I'm going to leave you two alone. So then he goes upstairs and Kayla and I are on the couch. And like, I'm totally not getting into it because I can see Nick peeking around the door.
So Nick was watching you fuck his wife.
Well, no, I wasn't.
She's on his lap.
Like,
yeah.
I couldn't fuck her. Like, I was on top. I got on top of her on the couch and we're making out. We're fucking around and shit. But like, every once in a while out of the corner of my eye, I can see Nick peering around the door. And I finally just went, because we were going to go out to lunch after I opened the gift. And I go, guys, can we just fucking go out to lunch? I can't do this with people fucking staring at me and like peeking around the door. And he's like, oh, sorry. I just want to know like what you guys were doing. So maybe I know what we should do. And I'm like, I don't need an explanation. If some guy is fucking staring around the corner, fucking watching me, I'm not into it. Sorry. There were so many instances where Nick wanted to know what Kayla and I were doing.
You didn't like being the bull, basically, and having him watch. That was
I liked having my own time with my sweet baby Kayla,
Right.
with the gorgeous love of my life, beautiful. If you see this, honey, take care of yourself. I hope you're all right. But no, there was.
Why do you think Rekieta wanted to watch you with his wife?
There was a weird vibe I got where I don't know if he wanted to watch, because anytime like there was one time where she would always try to sneak a little when we were in the bed and other people would be there, almost like to see if she could get away with it. I mean, not that I'm fucking complaining.
Like touching you and shit when you're like everyone's sleeping,
like putting me in.
Whoa, okay.
And then one time we got into it and she went and reached for Nick's hand and he got his hand away and left the room. He's like, no, I'm not into that, because he didn't know anything was going on. So like, we would get really kind of risque with our shit every once in a while. And we got her and I would get talking tos from Nick and April quite a bit. I know I got a talking to for our behavior, which always struck me as fucked up and weird, because I'm like, sorry, just the two of us are doing our thing. And, you know, we're not busting down the door to see what the fuck you guys are doing. Like, it's just weird. They were like, Nick would be like, well, you guys, and because when Nick was down doing his show, April would sit down there and watch.
Right.
She would watch him do his show, and Kayla and I would be upstairs free to do what we like.
May I ask you the setup? Like the setup real quick before. Can you remember that story?
She was a corner demon.
Was there like a couch there and a table with booze on it?
Because chair, she'd sit in a chair.
Just a chair. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And sometimes they'd come up for that 1 hour break, and Kayla and I would be a little busy, and Nick would knock on the door, or they'd walk in sometimes, and that was always a little weird. Where they just walk. I remember one time we were at my house, and Nick walked in, and Kayla was on top of me, and Nick lost his fucking mind. Keep in mind there was a closed fucking door. Kayla's on top of me. Nick loses his mind. We stop. Kayla's in the bed. The door's open. I see Nick out the door. I'm like, Nick, sorry that you had to say it. No, don't you fucking talk to me. Not now. And he's like on the verge of tears, like yelling at us. And I'm like, we didn't fucking ask you to come in. There was always these weird times where like Nick would text me, like I told you earlier, asking me where I touched her. Or like one time they walked in from taking a break on his show and Kayla and I were kissing. And he's like, what else did you guys do? What did you do except kiss? I'm like, I don't think we did anything. We were just fucking around. No, I need to know what you like. He needed to know what was like what he walked in on. And I'm like,
did you guys use condoms?
I'm taken care of. Like I've had 3 kids.
Yeah.
I'm fine, so
you fucked Miss Racket's bareback and busted in her.
I mean, is this a
You did.
I alternated, a little of column A, a little of column B.
Come on.
Come on. You raw
sniffed
dogged her. You
Well, no,
raw dogged her.
bro,
Glazed her, huh?
condoms are gay.
Oh, you glazed her. You glazed her.
Did you go in the back door?
I did
Any
not.
facials?
No.
Yes, there were.
No.
I saw your face. You
No,
facialed
no.
her.
I don't need
Your
fucking
cum was all
I don't
over
need
Kayla's
fucking
face.
Walter Cronkite Ashton over here going, oh, I've been investigating in your face.
I've been investigating, and the facial expressions that you give lead me to conclude you facialed his wife.
No,
I didn't-
Noir.
No, I didn't facial Kayla. She's a sweet girl. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to my baby. I couldn't do that to my baby. I couldn't do that to my baby.
Listen, if you're on
Did you
drugs,
finish
fucking
on her
facials
tits?
or whatever.
I mean, how do you not?
Okay.
You finished on her tits.
All right.
What are you, gay?
And you said no
Oh,
anal.
we need to know.
Like I said, boys, a little of column A, a little of column
Was
B.
there a cream pie sesh?
Do we need to? I mean, how far do we need to go into this?
Was there cream pie?
All the way.
That's the
Well,
line.
look, sometimes things just feel good. You don't need to, I mean, we've all fucked before.
69.
Don't remember. I don't recall.
Don't recall.
You
really
don't,
don't.
do you like the lawyer now?
You hear the fucking things
You're
I'm
on the
admitting
stand?
to? No, do you hear the things I'm admitting to? Like I would fucking say, like I don't remember.
Holy
You guys are asking a lot of things. I don't like how many questions you guys are asking about my sweet baby's pussy.
All right. No, that's fair. Well, Ash, by the way, and Aaron, I mean, like we did have Sean booked for 10
But
p.m.
listen,
Eastern.
we're going to push him back just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just say yes.
Let's,
I'll tell him.
Let me ask you about something. So in the reports from the jail, they said that Kayla asked for her prescription bottle, and there was like stuff in there was like a gummy and a couple other things that weren't supposed to be in the prescription bottle. Do you know what that was?
I don't. I will say this, and this isn't me trying to protect anyone or anything like that. I only ever saw Kayla take her prescription medication. I mean, when it wasn't like when they were doing cocaine and everything, but like I only saw her take the pills that she took for those days. She had prescriptions that she took in the morning and in the evening for sleep conditions. That's all I ever saw.
I'm going to get into some of our super chats here just so that they have a chance. Chef Red Pill for $15 asked, did Nick ever inject anything? If not, then how did he get sores on his arms? What drugs was he doing apart from coke and Molly?
I only saw him do cocaine and Molly. As far as the sores on his arms, I never saw him inject anything. The only thing I can explain that as is maybe scratching. I know his hands shook constantly. He couldn't stop his hands from shaking. Maybe there was scratching. I don't know. When I saw that in the police report too, that confused me because I don't. You got to remember, I've also been gone for 7 weeks, so there's a chance. I don't know, anything could happen. But
what about
again, it's my testimony here is what I've seen.
What about the ketamine that the police found?
He talked about how he had done ketamine in the past. I was never aware of him having or taking ketamine.
Okay. What do you think about the brown that the police found?
That confuses me too. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know.
Or Molly powder, right?
I mean, and the scale, I know the scale he used to measure out Molly doses. You know, you got to.
Yeah, the brown may be Molly because you know it is brown at times.
What about the?
Molly wasn't brown though.
Okay.
What about the spent gun shell casing? Do you think he was fucking around with guns, or did you ever see him fuck around with guns, or what do you think that is?
I didn't even know that gun was under the bed, or I would have said something about it. I don't think you should have just a loaded gun. We were sitting up in the bed watching a movie, and Kayla was there, and she went to grab her sleeping pills, and she set them down on my leg. This was a couple nights before Nick confronted me about this. Well, I guess Nick got a hold of Kayla's phone and started reading her messages, and there were really affectionate, heavy messages from Kayla and I, and he didn't like that. And he starts texting me, and he starts going, "Where did Kayla put those pills the other night?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Did she put them on your dick?" I'm like, "What?" When she set them down on the bed, did she set them where your dick? I'm like, "No, I think she set them on my knee. I'm not sure." Like, I didn't know because I don't remember that shit because that's psychotic.
The pills loose? Was it the pills
No,
loose?
No. She has them in the
case. Okay. In the case.
Like
All right.
people who have to take medication do. And by the way, before anyone even asks, I only saw her, other than like cocaine and stuff, I only saw her take medication that was prescribed to her. I will say that.
Okay.
But he would start questioning me, and if I didn't know the answer to these things that happened a couple days ago, he'd start fucking freaking out on me like, "You're a goddamn liar. Why don't you just stop fucking lying?" And I'm just like, dude, I just don't know where your wife put her pill. I don't pay attention to this shit. Did you fuck her 2 days ago when you were watching that movie? Did you have sex that? I'm like, Sunday, Monday, I think maybe but then I would realize I would think to myself,
you fucked her, right?
Why do you think he was so threatened by you fucking his wife? Like, shouldn't he have been chill with it?
Those two are extremely codependent. And even though they're into, I think they were kind of bored with each other. And that's where April and I came along. And
was it accepted to have sex with her and vice versa? Like, was this like already okay, guys, I get to fuck her, you get to fuck her.
Let me take responsibility for something else.
Sure.
While April and I were on vacation in Las Vegas to watch the Vikings games and hang out with some friends.
Okay.
I did bring it up to her that I thought Kayla was very attractive. And my part of the degeneracy, my part of the weakness was it might be interesting to try this because we knew their reputation. Can you
walk me through like the decision process to opening your marriage?
The Wednesday night before we left for Las Vegas, we went out to dinner with the Rekietas. Now, we met them in October at the comedy show.
Okay.
That unfortunately Chrissy Mayer's father was murdered and she had to pull out of the show.
Oh, yeah.
I heard about that. Yeah, it was really sad.
Brutal, yeah.
Chrissy, a good friend of mine. Great.
Oh, she's
person.
great. Yeah, I love her.
She's wonderful.
So that was the one. Sorry to. It was the one where Nick performed that as well. You brought him in for that show. Yeah, okay, I remember that. Okay, and he told anyone if we covered that show, he would flag it and shit. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. So it was October.
I don't give a fuck. I think people who troll me recorded it and played it on their shows. Who fucking cares?
Yeah, I know. But okay, cool. Timeline, perfect.
So we hung out. We drank afterwards. It was fun. It was a good time. April and Kayla got along great. Nick was on Molly. He and I got along as well as we could. He was cool enough. Then we hung out the next day before they left town. We watched a movie in the morning. And then April would go to their land to hunt. April is a deer hunter. I would go sometimes. November's a little cold for me. I'm kind of a faggot like that. And I would stop hunting around then. She would go to their land to hunt. I've thought about this as time goes on, as I've been away from it. I don't know if they introduced her to anything in that time period or not. I have no idea, but I have my suspicions now. But we went out to eat early December, probably like December 4th, I would think. And we went back to our place. And we all sat and watched a movie. I think it was Inglourious Bastards, actually.
Right.
So random. It's just
Django Unchained.
You're all Molly?
It wasn't Django.
It was a Tarantino film.
You're all high on Molly? Like, let's watch some Tarantino.
No,
And that's where
Tell people what a bullet is, because there's not.
The little container of cocaine. Like you just
Easy
put cocaine
access.
in it,
You pull it out of
and
your
can just
pocket, you go
screw
like
the
that,
top
and
then
bang. Yeah.
give yourself a little
A
something.
bump. Yeah. Fast bump.
Yeah. Worski knows. I'm a fucking choir boy compared to you, buddy. I don't.
Yeah, I know.
I'm from the Midwest. I drink
That's
beers.
why I
and
don't
golf.
judge.
I don't
That's why I
fucking
can't
know.
judge.
I drink
right.
beer and watch Timberwolves playoff games. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Let's fucking go.
So we're
go on.
watching it. Pete, shut the fuck up, Ashton. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're watching the Tarantino movie, and Kayla and April start making out. Fun, cool.
Right.
I said here's something that's got me thinking.
I can see it beginning that way, right? Like your wives start making out, and it's like it's cool, right? Because it's like lesbian action. It's hot,
Wonderful,
and that's what opens the door to it, right?
Yeah.
Boob
And I
touching and rubbing.
And I want to say, I respect I appreciate your respect as a man while I'm talking about that, to have both your hands above the screen. I do appreciate it.
Exactly. We
Very
got this a fire me up special.
You're a godly man. So
Very.
they're making out. And here's what's got me thinking that I don't know if something happened before this while they were, while April was out there hunting or not. I don't think so, timeline-wise. Well, who knows? Nick goes to run his hands up April's thigh. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. And he pulls his hand back real fast. Like, I'm sorry. I'm on Molly. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm like, all right, just fucking making sure. So I start doing things to my wife while her and Kayla are making out. Nick starts doing things to his wife while they're making out. And then we break. They go in, Kayla and Nick go in one room. April and I are in the other. April and I both do a little bit of coke. Nick pours a little bit of coke out. April does some, I'm assuming for the first time ever, which she looked at me. She goes, is this okay? I said, I had one bump at a wedding when I was like 30 at that time. And I'm like, it's up to you. You're your own person. You can do what you want. Right. And then I did one bump and I'm like, God, I forgot. I really don't like this. It doesn't feel good when it goes. I just don't like shit up my nose. So we do that. April and I have sex. I'm assuming the two of them had sex. And when it's all done, I remember Nick was downstairs. April went downstairs. They're in the kitchen. Kayla comes into my room, comes around the bed, stands by me, and starts showing me like pictures of her family and telling me stuff about her family. Like, here's this person, here's that person, so on and so forth. And I'm like, I'm just kind of like, just because of everything that went on, I'm like, does she like me? Like, we're both married. Is this like I don't really
You
get
felt
what
flirtatious energy.
I felt the flirtation, and obviously I thought she was an attractive woman. I'm not sitting here going, oh, this weird bitch is fucking talk. I was like, oh, it's all right. Okay.
So she was coming on to you right away.
I don't know. I'm terrible at
That's
reading.
the sense. That's
Almost like a flirtation. Like the energy was there.
You were
not
being
the
flirtatious.
words, but
Right,
like you're near her, sort of like arms touching. Oh, look at this. Yeah.
We both just had sex. She's leaning over me. Yeah, it is a sexual energy.
Exactly. Okay.
So then April and I leave for Las Vegas the next day, and I am a little weirded out by what happened the day before, and I'm uncomfortable around my wife. But she's talking about this experience like, oh, that's kind of exciting, right? That was kind of fun. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really know what to make of it. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I'm more in the realm of like, what the fuck just happened? So then we get a day to think about it. Friday morning, we're in Las Vegas, and I go, she's getting ready in the bathroom. I go get her. I go, I want to talk to you real quick. And I was thinking about Kayla standing next to me, and I can't remember if she was naked or not, but I think she may have been topless. I can't remember.
You
and
can't
I just
remember
remember
if she was naked or not.
Dude, when we get to all the stories, there's a lot of shit that's just gonna.
Okay.
It's just too much.
All
My
right.
Like he's not sure if it was that time or the next time. Like
my RAM is overloaded.
yeah.
I can't process shit right. I really can't. Like, shit happens to me now.
And you were
I'm like,
fucked up too, right? Like you're on drugs, drinking, all that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah,
We get
makes
it.
sense.
So, I talked to my wife, and we just had a talk about what happened that night, 2 nights ago, and we talk about what we'd like to do. And I'm like, we know their reputation, and I went, I think I'd like to try this. Like
The reputation. Could you
the degenerate here that started this was me. I asked the question first.
Was it the hedonism stories? Like, was that what the reputation you're talking about?
I didn't know about the hedonism stories. I just knew in general the Requietas had swinger stories around them.
Okay.
Like, is this a known thing in Minnesota? Like, locally, are they known for swinging, or are you going based off of like
internet lore?
The Kiwi Farms.
Okay.
Internet lore.
Okay. So you weren't surprised that.
Right.
Okay. Can you answer this for just before we go any further on this?
Man.
Do you know if Drexel has had sex with Kayla?
I can tell you. I'll tell you that Kayla has told me no.
Okay.
I trust her on that, and I've never met Drexel. I don't know.
Never met Drexel.
Never met him. He was never at the Rekieta's house in the 6 months I was there.
All right. Back to the timeline of you opening things up and how we all
So,
got here.
April seemed way more gung-ho on it than I thought she would. So I was just like, all right, cool. That night.
Did that upset you? Did it upset you that she was so easily like open to it?
I feel bad saying no. I want to tell people this. If you're thinking of opening up the sanctity of your marriage, let me tell you something. You're fucking done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
You don't want it anymore. You're bored, whatever. Subconsciously or consciously, you just want to fuck some strange.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's what it started out. That's what it started out as. That does not negate the feelings I told you that I developed for Kayla later, everything else. I don't want to disrespect her in that way. But
no, I don't want to be disrespectful to you, but do you think it had anything to do with April not like orgasming? Because she said you never made her orgasm.
Where that fucking story came from. Our sex life was fantastic. As everything else was fucking garbage, that was good until the last time.
She made that joke or something, and then Red Bar started talking about it. Yeah.
I made a joke on air. She's like, oh, not every woman comes every time from sex. And that becomes, oh, she doesn't come. And it's just like, I'm just like, you motherfucker. Like, she wasn't saying anything shitty. She wasn't bashing our sex life. But I looked at her and went, you know how the internet's going to take that.
And
right?
you were pissed. Yeah, you were like seething. Yeah.
Number one, I'm not saying I'm the greatest that ever lived, but I laid some good dick with this woman. And here she is saying this. And I'm like, she doesn't mean anything by it. But I'm like, you wonder, like, I think more in terms of like what people are going to say, whereas she just kind of says shit. Yeah. And I'm like, that's why she was so caught off guard when I was like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, what? I didn't say anything. So and I'm like, no. People are going to take this the wrong fucking way.
Yeah, I could see that. So are you saying, were you pushing more to be opened, or was she pushing more for it to be open? So you're saying
my idea.
This was your idea to open the relationship.
Yeah, this was my idea.
Okay.
And
but then she was open, and you were like, "That was kind of quick."
She was a little bit too quick of a yes. And then we're talking to Nick and Kayla on the phone at dinner that night, and I'm like, all right. The first thing, actually, Las Vegas was the first red flag I got from this whole thing, because as soon as we text them about this idea that I had, the first thing Nick did was, do you guys have the Signal app on your phone?
Whoa! What is the Signal app? What is it?
And I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck that is.
Okay.
He goes, it's an encrypted messaging app.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, well, why can't we just text? No. Let's use the Signal app. And I'm like, well, there's nothing illegal about fucking each other's spouse. Like, I mean, we can fucking talk about this like adults, you know? Oh, no. Yeah, it was just weird. So we had to use this Signal app all the time. And I thought I should have known, like, you're going to realize I can see holier than thou Ashton, the wheels turning already, going, these fucking degenerates, the judgment.
No.
You're right.
No, this is a judgment-free zone.
We've never judged anyone.
Oh, yeah. Really.
No,
it's a judgment.
We have a lunk alarm.
You know what?
Until I hit the end call button.
Listen. Did you make Kayla come when you fucked her?
Oh, we did very well.
How many times do you estimate that you made Lady Rackets moan your name?
Oh, Jesus.
How many times did you fuck her, do you think?
See, now I was talking to someone before we went on, and they prepped me. They said, Ashton's going to ask some hard-hitting questions.
Oh, yeah. Of course he is.
And they prepped me for some of them. One of them was, how many times did you guys have sex? Can't.
It was
Whoa,
countless.
it was just
It
a
was
lot.
dozens of times.
Like I said, I love
Hundreds.
I was obsessed.
Hundreds?
I was obsessed with it. Hundreds?
Hundreds?
No, not
Maybe,
hundreds.
like 800?
In the like dozens to 100.
How many times a week?
At first, we always tried to keep it, or not tried to keep it, but it was always more spouses than other spouse. You understand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like a once or twice a week thing. I'd say at the peak, 4 or 5 times a week.
Did she suck your cock?
What are you, fucking gay?
Of course.
Yeah,
was
like,
there
what are you,
dirty shit like anal and shit?
My dick? Like that's what you do. You fuck. What am I? Not a gentleman?
Did she spit or swallow?
Come on.
You know.
what
I
she
will
did.
tell you this. Listen to me. As a man, and maybe people in the chat will say as a fag. I see getting my dick sucked as a precursor to the main event. So
Yeah.
if I'm getting close and I'm getting my dick sucked, I'm like, no, let's get to it. I don't. So that
Right.
Was there toys involved at some points too?
Was she good? Was she good at sucking it, or what?
just a beautiful girl all around. She really
Yeah.
is. Just a lovely girl all around. I don't even say, no, look, you guys are giggling and everything. I don't say that as disrespect.
No, this is a crazy
No,
story.
like,
the story is
it's
epic.
amazing.
This is like the greatest story.
You're like one of the best Howard Stern
Yes,
segments
like,
ever.
yeah,
You're
just
just
a lovely
nailing it right now.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
No. And let me
Oh.
just say, into the camera right now, save yourself, sweetheart. You know you're better than this. There we
Whoa. By the way,
Did
your
you
channel
use
is in
the
the
ball-
links up there, by the way,
Yes.
everyone. Go sub to him, sub a Steel Tour.
Did you ever use the Baldo on Kayla?
I heard the Baldo described one time.
Okay.
Nick described it, and he tried to sell it.
Shut the
he's like,
fuck up.
well, no, it's a thing where
Hey,
your
no,
balls
tell-
become
tell
hard.
us.
You can-
Tell us, please.
No, tell us the time he tried to sell the Baldo.
He was like, no, you don't understand. The Baldo is this thing where it makes your balls hard, and you can insert them, and then your dick can rub against their clit, and it can actually be very stimulating. I'm like, you know what else is stimulating? Fucking the shit out of somebody. You can just fuck someone. You don't have to shove your balls inside them.
So he used the Baldo? He did.
I don't know. I cannot confirm.
But he's trying to sell
Or
you on
not.
it privately, so he for sure did.
Maybe he just believed in the product.
Okay, yeah.
I don't.
Now, did you, in the course of any of this, did you ever see Rekieta's wang?
I've seen it flaccid in passing.
Are you bigger than him?
I will say this. I don't know if it got back to you guys, but I watched you guys cover the hot tub thing. I thought it was fucking hilarious because I'm like, yes, we do look like fags. Like, there's no getting around it. It's a fucking cringe thing. It was my idea. It didn't fucking pan out. Those three would defend it to the hilt. I'm like, guys, we look fucking ridiculous. And everything that came out of my mouth, I remember going, this is criminally unfunny. Like, this is really.
Okay, hold on. Let's go into the decision to do this hot tub stream.
Fine. I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
I'm going to get to this because I'm doing a terrible job. Andy, Nick would always tell me the reason I don't like Worski is because he went on the air and he said that when Kayla was walking him back to his room, he said on the air that she tried to give him a hand job.
I never said that. What I said was when I was drunk in Knoxville at the bar, and there are witnesses to this, she was getting really touchy-feely and flirty with me with Nick there. It made me uncomfortable because Nick was watching, and I was fucking fucked out of my mind. I never said that she jacked me off. I said that she was getting flirty and touchy, and Nick was looking over and then I brought that story up because I was like when we were hearing about all the stories about them possibly swinging, I'm like, oh, maybe, she did seem like she was down to probably fuck other guys and being flirty with people. In fact, she was being flirty with me and touching me and stuff. I never said jack off. I never said
Who do you think was the driving force behind the decision to open their marriage? Do you think Kayla was pushing for it, or do you think Nick was pushing for it?
You know, it's difficult because I know they were both unhappy. But I also know Nick has a way of making things Kayla's idea that maybe weren't necessarily Kayla's idea. I think Nick knows he's smarter than her, and he kind of uses that. So, I mean, I will say this. I think Nick Rekieta, borderline a monster. I really do. I think he's a bad dude. I don't think he has the ability to feel empathy towards anyone but himself. I think it might be a clinical condition. I mean, the guy is, because he's convinced he's right.
Let me ask you
never
something.
hear the kind of guilt I'm espousing right now espoused by him.
You said this in DMs. You said that he was a Warren Jeffs tier
cult leader.
Cult leader.
Yeah.
Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is, if you, like, when I said I wanted to leave, he treated it like I was leaving the fucking Manson family. Like I said, I'm not coming back. And his fucking words were, "You led my wife on."
What? Like, what the fuck?
I'm like, I led your wife? What? I led your wife on? Which was a weird fucking thing to say. And then when I said, dude, I can't do it anymore. My kids don't want to be there. If my kids don't want to be there, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. And April had left by this point, so she was done. So I was like, this is a clean break. I can be done with April. She can be done with me. The kids can be done. They didn't like April anymore because the drugs had made her, I'll say, love the kids when it was convenient for her. Okay. And they noticed that. And they knew that she wasn't as active in their lives anymore. And my oldest started to resent her. So I was like, you know what? This is a good time to call it. Nick lashed into this invective on Signal where he started saying, you know, you flabby, fat, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just starts going into these laundry list of descriptive physical features. And then goes, why don't you do the whole world a favor and kill yourself?
Whoa.
And I'm sitting in bed. I read that. And I finally, literally the last thing I ever said to Nick Rekieta was, LOL, okay, addict, and then blocked him. That was it.
May I ask you, why didn't the kids want to be there? Like, what behaviors did they see?
Their parents weren't ever around. Like, they were like, Dad, you're the only one who ever comes out to check on us or anything. We don't play with you. We don't hang out with anybody. You know, we're on our tablets. It's not fun. We don't want to, because everyone was in the bedroom the whole time.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I have a question here from someone. Yeah. So, okay, the gun charges, the shell casing. Could you explain any of this at all?
I'll tell you this. It was actually, the police report was the first time I ever heard that I was sleeping on a bed that had an AR under it. Whoa. Like, if I would have known that, I would have fucking freaked the fuck out and said, there's fucking, my kids come here and fucking play. Can we get that locked up, please? If I knew there was fucking ammunition and a loaded gun under the bed. You understand that their children come into that bedroom to hug their parents goodnight, and there's a fucking gun underneath the bed? I had no idea.
Let me ask you something. With the black eye that Rekieta got, how do you think he got that black eye, or do you know how he got the black eye?
My opinion, because again, I've been gone for 7 weeks at this time. My opinion, Kayla got mad about the live stream and either threw something at him or hit him with something in a fight. I don't know if that's true.
Did you ever witness Rekieta, like her throwing something at Rekieta or her hitting Rekieta?
She told stories to me about how she'd thrown things at Nick.
Can you tell me some of those stories, or at least one of those stories?
She was fighting with him about something, and she threw books at him. She's such a smart girl. I love her. A fucking firecracker. She took books out that were like The Sanctity of Marriage and like A Lovely Happy Household. She would pick those books specifically and throw them at them and say, like, you give a fuck about any of this, you asshole. And she would tell me those stories, and I was like, I like this bitch.
I like that too. That's really taking it to a whole new level.
People in the chat will say, as a fag, I see getting my dick sucked as a precursor to the main event. So if I'm getting close and I'm getting my dick sucked, I'm like, no, let's get to it. I don't. So that
right.
Was there toys involved at some points too?
Was she good? Was she good at sucking it, or what?
Just a beautiful girl all around. She really is. Just a lovely girl all around. I don't even say no. Look, you guys are giggling and everything. I don't say that as disrespect.
No, this is a crazy story.
No, like,
the story is
it's amazing.
This is like the greatest story.
You're like one of the best Howard Stern segments ever. Like, you're just nailing it right now.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
No. And let me just say, into the camera right now. Save yourself, sweetheart. You know you're better than this.
Whoa. By the way, your
you
channel
use
is in
the
the links up there, by the way, everyone. Go sub to him, sub a Steel Tour.
Did you ever use the Baldo on Kayla?
I heard the Baldo described one time.
Okay.
Nick described it, and he tried to sell it.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, no, it's a thing where your balls become
tell
hard.
us.
Tell us, please.
No, tell us. Tell us the time he tried to sell the Baldo.
He was like, no, you don't understand. The Baldo is this thing where it makes your balls hard. And you can insert them, and then your dick can rub against their clit, and it can actually be very stimulating. I'm like, you know what else is stimulating? Fucking the shit out of somebody. You can just fuck someone. You don't have to shove your balls inside them.
So he used the Baldo?
I don't know. I cannot confirm.
But he's trying to sell you on it privately, so he for sure did.
Maybe he just believed in the product.
Okay, yeah.
I don't. We were at my house. Now, we have to go back to December or November to start this story, because the story happened around February, March.
Mm-hmm.
It was before Easter. I know that. After Valentine's Day, before Easter, because I bought Kayla a lovely Valentine's Day gift. And sweetie, sugar, if you're listening, make sure you get out of that house and get free. You've got so much more to offer the world, sweetness. All right? Love you too.
Did he get April a Valentine's Day gift?
No.
What a prick.
What a fucking asshole. I got Kayla Star Trek action figures.
Which ones?
I got a con and then some black dude, I don't know. But I knew she'd know. Yeah, it was a Drew Hill collection. No, it was some Star Trek action figures and then some snacks that she likes for her snack drawer next to her bed. And for her birthday, she likes like charcuterie snacks and things like that. So I thought, you know what, Kay, sweetie pie, love of my life, gorgeous. I said, wouldn't it be nice to have something to keep all your snacks cool next to your bed? So you can have them there. Yeah, I bought her a nice, old-timey looking 50s Frigidaire refrigerator and freezer for her bedroom. You know, the retro looking ones? Oh, yeah. What a gentleman.
Were you trying to steal her to be your own wife? Would you feel like that was your mentality?
Was I trying to steal her?
Not steal, but
no,
make her fall in love and then make her leave, and then you were from everything that you're saying, it sounds like you were trying a little bit.
I mean, I'm fucking with Nick a little too, but I mean, really, yeah. I wanted to get her the fuck out of there. I don't know if
and be with her.
We're a little bit sidetracked, but let's go back to the story where you wanted to beat us.
Real quick, I'll answer that question by saying this. Realistically, there's no fucking way her and I could be together. Okay. She's got 5. I've got 3. Well, I'd blow my fucking head.
Would you be willing to step up?
I wanted to get her the fuck out of that house.
Let's say Rekieta goes to prison and she gets off. Would you be willing to step up and help raise the 5 kids? You can't.
I can't get involved with that world anymore.
You wish you could.
Brother, I've made too many promises to too many people who have helped pick me up off the floor from this thing, who would dump me in a heartbeat, drop me
Fair enough. But at that time, you would have. At that time, you would have, right?
At that time, I would have jumped in front of traffic for this woman.
There we go. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. Her. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely.
Let's finish that story.
Right. Back to the story where you're going to beat his ass or whatever.
So the first time they came over, one of the first times they came over to our house, we're standing in the kitchen, and I'm already not comfortable with the cocaine thing. If I would have known when we started how into blow Nick Rekieta and everyone were, I wouldn't have done this because I had no idea. But he takes the little bullet, the little container of cocaine out of his pocket, puts a little line down for himself on my kitchen counter and just takes it up. And I look at him and I go, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, what? I go, I got 3 fucking kids and an ex-wife who, if she found a speck of that shit in my home, my kids would be gone fucking tomorrow. Don't ever bring that shit into my house again. Okay, I understand. Yeah, I get it. No, I'm a lawyer. I get that. Right,
I'm a lawyer?
So
sorry, that's funny. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, did a great job of showing up for traffic court, didn't he? Good
Yeah,
job, bud.
exactly. Yeah.
Thanks. My State Farm bill fucking appreciates it. You know. But so then fast forward a couple months later. I'm walking around downstairs. My kids are there. No Rekieta kids are there. My children are there. And I'm just walking around checking on them. You know, what are you doing? All this stuff. I think I had made waffles that morning, and I was cleaning up from making the waffle. I hear Nick yell, "April, we made one for you." And it was coming from upstairs. And I'm like, well, I know they ain't making fucking muffins and shit. And I walk upstairs. You know that feeling you get where you go, don't be right. Don't be right.
Yeah.
Don't be right.
I hope I'm wrong. Please.
I'm walking upstairs, and I see the mini safe that I know the cops eventually confiscated one day open on my bathroom, my bedroom bathroom counter full of drugs. I didn't yell at Nick and Kayla right then and there. The kids were downstairs. I didn't want to cause a scene. I walked down the stairs. I go, April, could you come into the kitchen, please? April comes into the kitchen. I'm irate. I go, I told them to never bring any fucking drugs into this house, and they have the entire container full of fucking coke, and they said they just made one for you, so you had to know this was going on. And she looks at me, she goes, oh, I had no idea, but you're right. That's bad. I'll go talk to them.
They brought
not
a safe?
angry, not irate, not, hey, my 3 stepkids, who I claim to love more than life itself. Not like, get the fuck out of here, you lunatics. It was, oh, I will go talk to them. Like she was HR, you know, going to discipline someone for smelling a lady's chair or something. So she does that. I'm fucking losing my mind. I go downstairs to be away from everybody. And to come and console me from how angry I am, who do you think would come down to talk to me about this?
Kayla.
Oh, see, I would think my wife would come down to console me and talk to me about this and figure out what was going on. But yes.
Yeah.
Well, after seeing the whole story, yes.
Yeah.
The dear, sweet, lovely Kayla came down, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry. This is wrong. I apologize. I forgot. We're so sorry. You asked us not to, and we didn't respect that, and blah, 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 blah. Made me feel better a little. And I'm like, okay, you know what? We'll continue on with our day. I go, but that fucking happens again. I'm out of here. Now, in that moment, I should have been done. It should have been it. Before anyone goes, oh, Aaron's just a rat who thinks he's a saint. No, I fucked up. I failed in that moment right there. But then I go upstairs into the middle floor. I go to check on my youngest, the 4-year-old. And by the way, before anyone goes, should you really be telling these stories? My ex-wife has been such a fucking trooper. I have talked to her about I've come clean to her about everything. She's been great. She's just glad that I got, you know, our children out of there and everything else. I go up to the 4-year-old to check on her, and I see a navy blue container right next to her. And I pick it up, and in my head, I'm just going, it's Bubbles. It's Bubbles. It's got to be Bubbles. The kids are playing with Bubbles or something.
No.
I walk towards the kitchen. I start unscrewing the lid, and I'm just saying, I'm audibly out loud saying, no, don't. Full of cocaine.
It was the bullet, right?
It was the bullet.
He left it in the couch.
He was sitting on the couch watching something.
On
and
purpose?
It just sat there. No, it just fell out of his pocket and sat there next to my fucking 4-year-old after I'd asked him not to bring this shit into my house. So didn't respect. By the way, this is why fuck this guy. Bury him under the jail.
Wait, it was next to your kid?
Didn't respect me a fucking wink. Didn't bat an eye. What's that, Andy?
It was next to your kid?
It was next to my 4-year-old.
Oh my God. It's over.
I yelled for April to come down. I said, April, and I just held it out like this. And she goes, oh my God. I go, yeah, oh my God. Everybody out now. And I give it to her. She runs it up. I send a text to her. I go, I want everyone out of the fucking house. I could not be more upset. And
yeah, so
I go out to the garage. It's Minnesota. It's chilly. And I'm sitting there. I got a blanket on because I'm just thinking, like, how do I not go and kill Nick Rekieta? Like, how do I not fucking beat this guy within an inch of his life? I'm not going to make a scene in front of my kids. But the animalistic part of me was like, just pummel him. Just beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Kayla comes out to the garage. Again, tears in her eyes. And I said, Kayla, this is it. Like, it's got to be that shit or me. Like, I'm out of here. She goes, no, you're right. It has to stop. It's done now. We have to cut it out. We have to be done. It's got to be over. This is too much. We could have killed one of the kids, blah, 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 blah. Yes, wonderful. Thank you. April goes upstairs to be with Nick to make sure poor Nicky's okay because he feels so bad about almost killing a 4-year-old. Kayla and I sit there playing board games with the kids the rest of the afternoon until they have to leave. April never once comes down to say a word. I go up to say goodbye to April. Nick and Kayla have left for a little while. I go upstairs to tell April I'm taking the kids. She's sitting in the shower sobbing. Somehow, this has all become my fault because I was mean to her and I told her to leave the house. And how dare you do that? And Nick's really sorry, you know. And I went, you're going to fucking make excuses for him after all this shit. Took the kids back. The rest of that whole night is a blur because it was a disaster. It was filled with fights and screaming and yelling. I know Kayla threw a fucking drink, an iced tea from Popeyes in Nick's face. I know that Nick started hitting himself again like a fucking ape. Oh, I got to tell you the baseball bat story too.
Go ahead.
That was the bullet. That was the bullet story.
Tell us the baseball bat story.
The baseball bat story.
We're out one night. This is where I got to be like Sting. This is exciting.
Okay.
We're out one night. We're coming back. And it's pretty well understood that Kayla and I are going to go upstairs when we get back. Nick and April can do whatever it is they do. But Nick has this weird thing where he wants Kayla to say it. Like he's texting her, what do you want to do when we get back? It's already been established what's going to happen, like what's going on. Mm-hmm. And Kayla's like, oh, you know, we're going to go hang out upstairs. Who's we're? You mean me or you mean Aaron? And she's like, well, and then it starts this big fight. They start fighting about it via text.
No.
Because he wanted for some, I don't know if it's a sick, weird thing that he's got where she needs to say that she wants to fuck me. I don't know what it is, but it ends with April and I are upstairs and we hear shouting in our front yard, which is fucking embarrassing. You don't want your neighbors hearing a fucking domestic in your front yard. So April and I go out there and Nick is yelling at Kayla going, hit me, fucking hit me, fucking hit me, fucking hit me. He's screaming fucking hit me at Kayla.
Yeah.
And I get Kayla separated from him. April gets Nick separated from Kayla. And I go, hey, get in the fucking house. Enough with yelling. And he looks at me. He goes, Aaron, you better get the fuck away from me right now. Now, I go about 6'4", 215. Nick's about 6'2", 140. I just got right in his face, laughed at him, and I go, you're not going to do shit. And then I walked in the house. He's losing his fucking mind. So then Kayla gets back in the house. He gets back in the house. Boom, they just start into it again. Just yelling at each other, just blah, blah. At one point, Kayla says to him, and I think she did it to trigger him. I don't know if she was being serious or not, but Kayla says to him, every time I've ever had sex with you, I faked it.
Whoa.
Whoa.
To Nick?
Really?
Oh, he lost his shit.
Well, what did he say to that?
He fucking lost. What are you fucking talking? He's screaming. He's screeching. Of all the things I've ever heard anyone criticize Nick over, questioning his sexual prowess set him off more than anything else. You could have said he was a cokehead who neglects his kids, and he would have went, well, I've read some articles that say, actually, when you do coke when your kids are around,
better.
He was found out. He never pleased his wife. He was always soft, had to take boner pills.
Well, you used
So
the
what
ball,
you're
though.
saying is it was, in fact, him who had never made his wife come.
I don't know that.
According to her.
Did
Kayla
Kayla say you were better than Nick in bed?
She never said that. The only thing I ever heard was April once said to me that Nick told her, I've never heard Kayla make those noises before. When he was downstairs and they were upstairs, the night he couldn't perform and we were doing Snow Angels, I guess they had to hear us, which I don't take pride in that. That's not good. I feel bad. Like, that's not something you want to hear. That's a terrible thing to have to experience. But April told me after, she goes, yeah, Nick said he's never heard Kayla make those noises before. And look, that feels good. That feels good.
Tell us about the Super Bowl story.
No, let's do the baseball bat first.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're fighting, and then different parts out of context. At one point, Nick says to Kayla, I'm sorry, I'm just not a good enough lawyer. It's like, Jesus.
Oh my God.
What the fuck?
He doesn't practice. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, this is the only way I can make a living for us. She was talking about how much she hates his show. I hate your show. I hate that you do it. I hate what it's done to us, this and that. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm not a good enough lawyer. And I'm like, Jesus fuck. And I'm sitting here, I got a show in the morning. I'm like, guys, I want to fucking go to bed. Jesus Christ. Because April and I are upstairs. April's genuinely concerned. I'm just sitting here going, this is fucking retarded. April and I are 8 years apart. There's a lot of shit that happened where I'm just like, guys, this is embarrassing. We're 40. And April would be like, no, this is serious. We need to talk about it. I've never heard more people reference killing themselves than this group of people when they're high and like drama happens.
Really?
Like, oh my God. April's like, you have no idea when we were getting divorced. I wasn't around the kids anymore, which by the way, she left the kids without saying goodbye, left me to have that conversation. So fuck you and your attitude towards the kids. Using it when it's convenient for you, when you're not, but she goes, I've asked Nick to kill me so many times. It's like, well, then you guys all need to go get help because that's fucking insane.
She's asked Nick to kill her. Wow.
Oh, and then Nick does this motion 5 times a day when he's fighting with Kayla or he's frustrated about something.
How often does he hit himself in the head like a spastic?
I saw it 3 times. I saw it 3
Just
times.
3 times. Yeah.
That you saw.
So-
yeah.
Amazing.
So now Nick, then they start fighting again. April and I go upstairs. We're like, this is fucking exhausting. I finally hear yelling again. I go downstairs. He has Kayla cornered in our half bathroom in the entry. You know how a house where you'll walk in and there will be a bathroom right away, just a toilet and a sink right away that people can go into? He's got her in one of those smaller bathrooms, and he's got her up against the corner of it, shouting at her. Now, I'm a big enough dude that I can handle a Nick Rekieta with one arm. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what he's on. I don't know what the deal is here. So I go out to the garage and I get a baseball bat. I put it between the two of them. I push him aside and I go, get the fuck back. And Nick goes, fuck. And he walks around the kitchen beating himself in the head. And then April looks at me and she goes, you didn't need to bring that baseball bat in, I'm like, a fucking 6'2" man is standing over a 5'2" woman. She's crying. He's shouting at her in the bathroom. You're right. You know what? I should have broke his fucking ribs with
You
it.
really were the icon sting.
I think April. I don't know where April is during the fixer. So I think April in the bedroom. April and I were in the bed. Nick and Kayla were fighting. There was always drama. I always described the relationship between the four of us as we went from disaster to disaster, drama to drama. It was an intensely frustrating, stressful place to be. And I think it's because 3 people were on coke and one of them most of the time wasn't. And that's a frustrating spot to be for me. So Nick and Kayla are shouting, screaming at each other. I mean, frighteningly. They would have these knockdown drag-outs. I mean, just nasty fights. Some of them would end with Nick walking around hitting himself in the head like a fucking ape. This one in specific, Nick and Kayla are yelling at each other. Nick comes storming out of the bathroom. I hear Kayla crying. Nick points at me. This really upset me. Nick pointed at me and he goes, go in there and fix her.
What did he mean?
Yeah, because you.
I don't know.
Holy shit.
Go in there and fix her.
Whoa.
So I go in there and she's on the floor crying, basically in a ball crying. And I comfort her and I talk to her a little bit. And it's just, I mean, I don't know the specific conversation because these all run into each other. A variation on, he's gaslighting me. I'm so frustrated. Nobody understands me. Nobody can see me. Nobody can hear me. That's how we got close, is one of the things she would always say to me. And I would say to her, she would look at me she wouldn't want to talk about what was wrong. And I would start going, well, is it this? Is it, I understand maybe you feel this way, blah, blah. And she would look at me with tears in her eyes. She would go, you speak my thoughts. And that would touch me. That really, I'm not, you guys are going to find, I'm not some fucking monster who's here to just rat people out.
Oh, obviously
This
not.
touched me. This meant something.
Yeah.
So in the fix her thing, I go in there, I talk to her, and it's just they're fighting. And then Nick comes back in and they start yelling at each other again. Now I'm in between the two of them. This is remarkably uncomfortable. I'm not high. They're high, or at least he's high. And they just start fighting. Literally, I'm in between the two of them. Kayla leaves. Nick pours out the two biggest fucking rails of coke I've ever seen in my life. And granted, I haven't seen that much, but bigger than what they usually do. And just rips them back to back. To the point, now he and I were still friends at this point. Literally stopped, put my hand on his shoulder. I said, buddy, are you sure that's okay? Because he had just done some before that. I said, buddy, are you sure that's all right? I don't want your fucking heart to explode in the fucking bathroom here. Nick always had this way of WebMDing his shit to explain it away. He would go, no, well, what you don't understand is no matter how much I'm doing right now, it doesn't get me more high. It takes time for it to process and come down. And I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a stimulant supercharging the fuck out of your heart and you dropping dead. Like, no, it's fine.
Was he actually showing you shit online? Was he actually showing you stuff online?
No, he had an encyclopedia of bullshit.
So he acted I already looked at this up. I searched this already.
One time I asked him, because this was late. This was probably a week or two before I bailed. I confronted him. I said, dude, I know her and I aren't on the best of terms right now. This is when she was out. I was ready to file, like, just about over. Like, April and I crossed the Rubicon already. There was no going back. But I did still care. And I'm like, dude, she's doing a lot. It's like every day. And you guys are drinking a lot. Like, even Kayla came to me once and she said, Aaron, you need to talk to Nick or April because our liquor bottles are disappearing very quickly around this house. I said, okay, talk about it. I talked to Nick. I go, and I didn't really want to talk about the booze. I was more concerned about the coke. That's what scared the shit out of me. And I said, the cocaine use, dude. Let's talk about it because it's not good. We need to cut back on that shit a little bit. And he gave me this reason. He said, well, Aaron, what you don't understand is, understand how like people with ADHD, the stimulants they take allow them to pay attention better because their attention span goes up like this with the stimulant. It meets their demand for the, So he says about cocaine, he goes, well, Aaron, you see, sometimes our minds can only handle this much stress. But we have this much stress. So when I do cocaine, it elevates my body's ability to deal with stress to here, so I can then deal with the stress I face. And I remember just going to him, I go, that's total bullshit.
What was the stress? What was the stress that what was he mentioning? Like, what was the stress?
Andy,
was the kids?
What you don't understand is this man was streaming at that point 1 or 2 days a week.
Okay.
He had a trust fund.
Yeah.
And that's very stressful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Life's tough, bud. Life's tough.
I want to ask.
There were some times with Nick where, as the son of a fucking baker and a lunch lady, I was like, you entitled cunt. Like, just fucking man up and handle your shit.
Yeah.
Like,
so I got to ask, like, what, because you were there a lot or a fair amount. What is like a day in the life of Rekieta? Like, is he mostly high, like, all the time?
I can tell you what I saw from time to time. Again, everything I'm telling you, I don't want to get into speculation. Everything I'm going to tell
whatever
you guys,
saw, whatever you
firsthand.
saw. Amazing, thanks.
While I too, again, let's remember, while I too was being a degenerate, going outside of his marriage, scandalizing his relationship, scandalizing his children, all of these terrible things, being a bad father, being a bad husband. But a day in the life was this. I would get up. I'm an early riser. I do a morning show. I would get up on a weekend, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I would just sit and stare at 3 passed out people.
Oh,
that's it.
I would just go, all right. What are we going to do? I'd go take a shower or something. I'd kill some time. And then I kind of wake everybody up. I'm like, hey, can I go get breakfast? I remember one common thing with this relationship was that I was the one who was always going, hey, can we go do some shit? Hey, can I go get this? Can I go to... I was
You fed the kids, right? You fed them
to get out of the fucking house and do some shit.
Wait. Where were the kids during all this, by the way?
They would wake up later, but they would still come and knock on the bedroom door.
Whoa.
By the way, we slept 4 of us to a bed.
What the?
Like, we all slept in the same bed.
Yeah,
I would sleep with Kayla. Nick would sleep with April.
Okay,
so that was the sleeping
That
arrangement.
was the sleeping arrangement. Was April and I on the ends, Nick over by April, Kayla over by me. So sometimes in the morning, the kids would knock on the door and say either I'm hungry or this or that. I would say more times than not, I would go out and I would get them some food, something like that, because everyone else got up a little later than I did. Then there would be times where there would be fighting in the bedroom, or, you know, people were doing whatever they were doing in the bathroom, and someone would want something, and I would, more often than not, it was usually me who went and got it.
Wow.
I was just not into, like I said on my show, I did coke 3, maybe 4 times in total the entire time. Probably 4 lines, 4 bumps in total the whole time I was there. I did develop an affinity for Molly. It just seemed I wouldn't drink.
Pills
and I would
or powder?
I hate powder. I hate it. One time they had me do the licking thing.
The licking thing, yeah.
Like,
you
so
wanted
every
more
time after that,
control.
Yeah, I had Nick use papers and wrap it in like pill form, and I would take it that way. I preferred it that way. And what I would do is I just wouldn't drink that night. I'd pound water and Gatorade, and I would chill because everything was so dramatic and everything else. I would have fun. I would enjoy myself.
Yeah.
But I'd still realize, holy shit, dude, you're 37 years old and you're a father of 3. Cut the fucking shit. So after about half a dozen times of that, done with that too. Oh, I don't know if it got back to you guys, but I watched you guys cover the hot tub thing. I thought it was fucking hilarious because I'm like, yes, we do look like fags. Like, there's no getting around it. It's a fucking cringe thing. It was my idea. It didn't fucking pan out. Those 3 would defend it to the hilt. I'm like, guys, we look fucking ridiculous. And everything that came out of my mouth, I remember going, this is criminally unfunny. Like, this is really.
Okay, hold on. Let's go into the decision to do this hot tub stream.
I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
I'm going to get to this because I'm doing a terrible job. Andy, Nick would always tell me the reason I don't like Worski is because he went on the air and he said that when Kayla was walking him back to his room, he said on the air that she tried to give him a hand job.
I never said that. What I said was when I was drunk in Knoxville at the bar, and there are witnesses to this, she was getting really touchy, feely, and flirty with me with Nick there. It made me uncomfortable because Nick was like watching, and I was fucking fucked out of my mind. I never said that she jacked me off. I said that she was getting like flirty and touchy, and Nick was like looking over like, and then I brought that story up because I was like when we were hearing about all the stories about them possibly swinging, I'm like, oh, maybe, I mean, like, she did seem like she was down to probably fuck other guys and being flirty with people. In fact, she was being flirty with me and touching me and stuff. I never said jack off. I never said jack
Who
off.
do you think was the driving force behind the decision to open their marriage? Do you think Kayla was pushing for it, or do you think Nick was pushing for it?
You know, it's difficult because I know they were both unhappy. But I also know Nick has a way of making things Kayla's idea that maybe weren't necessarily Kayla's idea. I think Nick knows he's smarter than her, and he kind of uses that. So, I mean, I will say this. I think Nick Rekieta, borderline a monster. I really do. Yes. I think he's a bad dude. I don't think he has the ability to feel empathy towards anyone but himself. I think it might be a clinical condition. I mean, the guy is, because he's convinced he's right.
Let me ask you something.
Hear the kind of guilt I'm espousing right now, espoused by him.
You said this in DMs. You said that he was a Warren Jeffs tier
cult leader.
Yeah. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, what I mean by that is, if you, like, when I said I wanted to leave, he treated it like I was leaving the fucking Manson family. Like I said, I'm not coming back. And his fucking words were, "You led my wife on."
What? Like, what the fuck?
I'm like, I led your wife. What? I led your wife on? Which was a weird fucking thing to say. And then when I said, dude, I can't do it anymore. My kids don't want to be there. If my kids don't want to be there, my hands are tied. There's nothing I can do. And April had left by this point, so she was done. So I was like, this is a clean break. I can be done with April. She can be done with me. The kids can be done. They didn't like April anymore because the drugs had made her, I'll say, love the kids when it was convenient for her. Okay. And they noticed that. And they knew that she wasn't as active in their lives anymore. And my oldest started to resent her. So I was like, you know what? This is a good time to call it. Nick lashed into this invective on Signal where he started saying, you flabby, fat, whatever, blah, 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 just starts going into these laundry list of descriptive physical features, and then goes, why don't you do the whole world a favor and kill yourself?
Whoa.
And I'm sitting in bed, I read that, and I finally, literally the last thing I ever said to Nick Rekieta was, LOL, okay, addict, and then blocked him. That was it. May
I ask you, why didn't the kids want to be there? Like, what behaviors did they see?
Their parents weren't ever around. Like, they were like, Dad, you're the only one who ever comes out to check on us or anything. We don't play with you. We don't hang out with anybody. We're on our tablets. It's not fun. We don't want to, because everyone was in the bedroom the whole time.
Let me ask you something. With the black eye that Rekieta got, how do you think he got that black eye, or do you know how he got the black eye?
My opinion, because again, I've been gone for 7 weeks at this time. My opinion, Kayla got mad about the live stream and either threw something at him or hit him with something in a fight. I don't know if that's true.
Did you ever witness Rekieta, like her throwing something at Rekieta or her hitting Rekieta?
She told stories to me about how she'd thrown things at Nick.
Can you tell me some of those stories, or at least one of those stories?
She was fighting with him about something, and she threw books at him. She's such a smart girl. I love her. A fucking firecracker. She took books out that were like the sanctity of marriage and like a lovely, happy household. She would pick those books specifically and throw them at them and say, like, you give a fuck about any of this, you asshole. And she would tell me those stories, and I was like, I like this bitch.
I like that too. That's really taking it to a whole new.
So they fucking ram the door, fuck your door up, all this shit, right in front of your children. Great job, buddy. And like April and Kayla are there, and I believe according to the search warrant, or according to the arrest report, they saw shit. Like some of you are just like, bro, you let him do it. I'm like, I was doing the same thing. That was like whenever there would be a complaint about what Kayla and I were doing. I would always say, I'm like, guys, you're doing the same thing. Like, you don't need to be worried about. Talked about the Timberwolves being dog shit. Watch the Twins. It's pretty chill Memorial Day. Ayatollah Khomeini diff with $4.99 says, give Kayla and April burkas and we will heal Nick Rekieta in Tehran. Verily, Allah is the best of dealers. Terrible sleep and little of it. Paul Height with $5 says, you telling me the kids ask you for food and knew to call you if things got heated between Kayla and Nick. That was only one time. There was only one time where they messaged us and said mom and dad are fighting to, say that, hey, this was his idea. And I have a story that would corroborate that. I've told the story about how Kayla said, I told Nick that when we run out of drugs, we want to be done. He agreed. April threw a fucking crazy fit and threatened to go by herself. So Nick told Kayla, well, I'll go with her because I don't want her to go by herself. Kayla said, no, you stay here. Again, this is a story Kayla told me. And Nick went with April and they got the new bat. Not heard the Keno Casino thing. And by the way, Nick lied to me about Andy Worski. He said, the reason I don't like Andy Worski is because he said Kayla tried to give him a hand job when she walked him home. And Andy's like, no, I didn't. I said that she was really flirty at the bar in front. And I thought it was weird, which I wouldn't think that's weird. Kayla can be a flirty girl. She's a lot of fun. Kayla can be a lot of fun in social situations. So I believe Andy's story. And Nick turned out to be a fucking told me. I wasn't, by his own admission, he and Kayla sat April and I down and gave us their full history of it. Blew the whole thing up. Los Federales with $2 says, Kayla and April, spin or swallow, a man needs to know. A man doesn't need to know. Let's find an ounce of love at the Rekieta's house during the raid. I don't know. From what Kayla texted me earlier that week, your shit was bad. And she said, they dropped the charges. April's worn out gum glove with $2 says, what's the link for Kayla and April's OnlyFans page? They don't have one. They don't look very good. Greedo the avaricious with $5 says, Nick once talked on stream about how Kayla's body was ruined. Did she ever talk about this with you? Kayla did talk to me about how his show affected her mental health and how, it put her in an unhealthy place. Yeah, we did talk about that. But Kayla I will say this. I got all the tawdry stuff out yesterday on Keno Casino, and I giggled with the boys and everything. My personal opinion, I mean, I may not have any kind of relationship with her now. That may all be, broken and destroyed and all of that stuff. But I do think Kayla has a great body. She's a beautiful girl. I have nothing negative to say about her appearance or her looks or any the problem. No, we just go to the other person for comfort. I'd go to Kayla. I'd get excited to see Kayla. I'm going to go hang out with Kayla because she treats me better than this. And April would probably feel the same way about Nick. And same thing with Nick and Kayla is, she does, Nick would bitch to April about Kayla, and then April would tell me what Nick was bitching about to Kayla, and then Kayla would bitch about Nick to me, and then I would go to April and say, it's all very backstabby and shitty. There's no private conversations to worry about that. The girls were happy. Bogey with $2 says, sounds like this ends with Kayla in a home with 8 kids. Wait, what? I'm going to lose my kids and they're going to go to... The fuck? That's a twist. Unquenchable. And he and April would either be drunk or they will have done some substance or whatever. And they would come up and they would tell Kayla and I this, Nick said this thing on his stream tonight, and they would tell us what he said. And Kayla and I numerous times would look at each other and go, I don't know what the fuck they're laughing about. Like that.
Wow.
Oh, God. Ugh. I mean, Kayla had good taste in falling for me, but my wife fell for this fucking nerd? Ew. The Moldy Crow with $5 says, when Nick would take breaks from streaming to check on Lady Rackets, did he actually go up and watch you and Kayla bang, or did he leave to do coke? No. He wasn't watching Kayla and I bang. There would be different things. They would come up sometimes and say hello to us. Depending on what was going on, they would come up and say hello. Kayla and I would usually be, cuddling and watching a movie or whatever, and they would come up. Shaka's been given to a new home. Trucker 18-wheeler with $2 says, was it hot when April and Kayla were banging? Oh, the story I told about the Wednesday before April and I left for Las Vegas throughout this week. Real quick, Los Federales with $2. Who fell harder for the other? You and Kayla versus Nick and April. I would say things I've done. I did this to me. Yes. Nobody made me do it.
Right.
April, Nick, Kayla, same thing. Nobody made us do anything. But my emotions will change day to everybody. I would testify to an officer. I saw Nick cook for his children. Yep. I saw Kayla make food for her children. April and I both made food for their children. And people go, well, that's kind of weird that you in Rekieta's coffin. Mm-hmm. I will only tell the truth. What I want is for Nick to get better. I want Kayla and April. I want them all to get better. I want them to work out a deal that gets them their kids back, that helps them, first of all, that gets them sober.
Yeah.
He can't help himself. This is the Nick that I ran into his bedroom because he and Kayla were yelling. April and I were in the kitchen. He and Kayla were yelling. And this was when he got his school teaching thing taken away. And the kitchen, singing some songs, having some fun, maybe doing a little reconnecting. I don't know where it could have gone.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden we hear Nick and Kayla fighting, and then we hear a loud bang. And it scared the fucking... don't fucking tell me what to do. It's me, Mario, at $9.99 says, how are Kayla's... okay. I'm not going to... thank you for the $10. I do appreciate it.
From there...
Curtis Caruth with $4.99. The night you texted Kayla you were done, was that the night Nick canceled the show because of a family emergency? She must have shift a brick. I know he did cancel a show the night that happened. I don't know, and I'm sure that's why. I don't know if he said family emergency, but yeah, it did cause a canceled show. Or did your kids get taken away because they found 26 grams of cocaine in your house? Ha! When Kayla said to you, when we run out of this shit, let's not reload. Let's not get more. And again, this is a story Kayla told me. I cannot confirm this. This is a story that Kayla told me.
Yep.
I don't know if this is true or not. But Kayla said April threw a fit and was going to go by herself, so Nick went with her. Kayla asked him not to. That's what Kayla told me. I can only go by that. What caused you more problems? Her kept it here.
You were holding them back, man.
It was still terrible. It was still really bad, but when I was told by Kayla that she was like, April and Nick think that you were trying to control their use. I lost my partner. April lost her marriage. April got arrested for these things. Nick and Kayla lost their fucking children. Nobody won here. It's so look, we got that going for us, which is nice. Even Nick and Kayla, if we're going, talking to my therapist really set me back on the right track a little, because I'm sorry, buddy, you either aren't listening or you're in denial. But hey, that's you. I think we all know Aaron was in the cuck chair while Kayla, April, and Nick got down. He got mad and ratted everyone out online. Yeah, maybe you can't see yourself with empty whiskey bottles. His garage is filled with empty whiskey bottles. I remember asking Kayla about it. I'm like, Kayla, should we clean this up or, whatever? And she'd pick up some empty bottles. And I remember she said something I'll never forget. She said that second step. And the whiskey bottles thing always stuck with me. Like, I'm keeping I was like, Kayla, we got some messes here. Why don't we throw away some of these empty bottles? She said no. And Nick may have been keeping them for a different reason. But Kayla said, I'm hoping one day we look at all these empty bottles and we go, Jesus, how much have we been drinking? I said, okay, that's, you know what? It's good. Because like even if she was staying there, and I think Nick told them she was visiting, Kayla said she was the live-in nanny. Even if she had been made aware by Sergeant Dave Nestor of a family services report from a mandated reporter regarding Kayla Rekieta. I reviewed Sergeant Nestor's initial report, and on May 22nd, 2024, I was reviewing further information in relation to this investigation. They were detained and brought outside. There were 2 children located on the upstairs floor. We were advised that there was 1 child downstairs by Kayla. The other female who was detained was April. They probably know who that was. That sucks. 4 children were placed outside with their mother, Kayla, as well as April. The children, God, I can't imagine how scared shitless they were. Questions. This conversation was recorded on my body camera. During the conversation with Nicholas, he advised that he sleeps in the master bedroom with his wife, Kayla, and that April was just there visiting on this date. This is a
nanny for them. Then
employee type, yeah.
She's going to be over there working.
At this time, it was determined that Nicholas Rekieta, Kayla, and April would all be placed under arrest and transported to the Candy Ojai County Jail by marked Candy Ojai County deputies, as well as State Trooper Josh Munson. While placing Nicholas in the State Trooper's squad, I observed several injuries to his arms and contacted and eventually came to the scene to assist with placing the children with their grandparents. During this time, Detective Oakleaf advised me that she spoke with Kayla Rekieta regarding giving a statement, at which time Kayla advised that she wanted to have an attorney. Okay. Detective Sergeant Brannis attempted to take a statement from April Imholte after substance use. He advised me that he resides within the residence and stays in the master bedroom with his wife, Kayla, when he sleeps. He indicated that April Imholte was just a friend that was visiting and does not live at the residence. Please see audio recording for further details. I was advised after this interview that Alicia Sweep had contact with Kayla requesting if their live-in nanny, and I won't say her name, would be able to assist with anything at the residence. Sweep was advised by Kayla that technically, Kayla said that technically Imholte was their live-in nanny.
I thought properties. Technically.
But otherwise, Nick's saying, oh, no, she's a friend who's just visiting. And then Kayla tells the police, oh, no, she's our live-in nanny.
That's a little different.
Yeah. A total of 4 anonymous people made contact with Moline and advised of the following information. Nicholas and Kayla have 2 homes within the property. A family had been staying in one home renting.
And she listed it as her address.
She said she was moving there. Nicholas and Kayla have formed a newer relationship with Aaron and April. I was advised that Aaron and Nick do some type the pastor's Malin, right? Yeah, Malin. That they have noticed behavior changes in both Nick and Kayla, with Kayla appearing almost appearing now to be anorexic, and Nicholas to have lost a substantial amount of weight recently. That they believe the Imholts are possibly assisting with some type of drug use. Oh boy. With Nick and Kayla. Nicholas's blogging and views and or subscribers are down, possibly resulting. I wouldn't say I was assisting. If anything, I was the wet blanket. And sometimes Kayla would be the wet blanket. An anonymous person who also advised Malin that at one point, Nick and Kayla left with the Imholtes to go to a casino, leaving the Chilthe, and we go out to dinner. The 24th, April and I went. On the 25th, Kayla and Nick came out to hang out and go to dinner. So, no, this was not 24. That was what? Friday. Defendant, Nicholas Robert Rekieta. Defendant, Kayla. Defendant, April. And then investigating officer, assisting officer. Neglect or endangerment of child. Certain person not to possess firearms. Kayla, controlled substance in the second degree. Neglect or child endangerment, certain person not to possess gossip. They just, I guess that, well, I get it. You look at me and then you look at Nick and Kayla and you go, hey, what's going on there? People are gossiping. Churches, ironically, are full of gossip. So I got myself out, essentially. Shit show, head writer, Stuttering John podcast with 199. Says any cop worth his salt will peg you faster than Kayla. For what? People are correcting Northside in the chat saying, they were talking about Nick's kids, not Aaron's. Elza Belza says April was definitely groomed and Aaron was Kayla's peacekeeper. I've thought about that. in the last couple months that, maybe, Kayla and I were there to distract each other. So that those two, then you fucking rotting in jail for a mistake you made. So, and Kayla too. I hope that attached to the thing that didn't need to be attached, the fucking April and Nick and Kayla arrest thing comes out. So, 99 from Jen again says, been a psych RN. Nick Rekieta and Kayla Rekieta sound super manipulative. I hope that's not what happened with us visiting, which is what everybody does. They just have their credit cards with Coke on them on the nightstand with a snort tube next to it. And then Kayla, they talk to Kayla later, and Kayla, they ask her about their.
Oh, you mean Nick's client?
When they asked her about the nanny that had quit a while back, then Kayla tells the police, well, actually, April is our live-in nanny. And you're like, conditional release, so that he does not need to be drug tested, among other limitations. Kayla has not paid bond yet. She is out on free conditional release. Now, I'm not...
Well, that as well. If it's really not fair for, him to be able to do whatever he wants.
Now,
or not.
I know this is going to sound like conflict of interest commentary on this because, given the history and everything, I don't know if Kayla has her own lawyer. I don't know what the situation in that home is. I have not and will not have to this $50,000 bond thing. It's really interesting that he paid his and Kayla has not paid hers. Now, here's what I'm hoping. What I'm hoping is, again,
by the service of these people.
I want to pause it in a second here.
Please.
This does look like this would be Kayla right here.
Okay.
The back
sense.
of her head.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You've got Nick, what could be Nick, what could be Kayla, the kids, and what is rumored to be April. Pinned to the top of the chat. Go there. Thank you very much for the super chats. Appreciate it.
Is this time for you missed a Kayla joke there. Speaking of things that have been pinned at the top, and there's chat. No, all right.
Just like Trump.
So when you pay the bond for see, now I was holding out hope. I was like, oh look, Kayla didn't pay the bond. Kayla's serious about getting clean and being held accountable and cooperating, and so she can get her.
Cursing at his kids, going, "Get the F away from me! Not to bother me when I'm busy. When I'm busy relaxing here." And Kayla's sitting, and and the Imholtes are in there, all of them giving head to the Pope. Maybe that's the.
Whoa. I ain't no, Nick the Milkman with $5 says, why are you gay? Happy Pride Month. Glad you came out in time to celebrate. Kayla pointed this out to me back in the...
You're gay?
Back in the... Yeah, she said, number one, Nick was telling the truth. He deserves some credit for this.
Oh, really?
Kayla did bond out. He did pay her bond as well. Remember when he paid the $5,000?
Yep.
People respect, walk, the whole deal. So you can get that back in relatively short order. Now, when I saw that Kayla had bonded out too, that honestly, that disappointed me. Not the exchange, is that you fucking cooperate a little.
Yeah.
That's all. Just cooperate with us. Play ball. So when I heard that Nick had bonded out and Kayla didn't, I thought, that's great.
Yep.
That's awesome. Because I know Nick's an arrogant, stubborn son of a bitch who's never going to admit that he did anything wrong. Not just in this case, but fucking ever. Anything. But Kayla, I was like, she kept the bond. That means she's sticking with the random testing, no drinking, no drugs, no daughter came up to her and just gave her this beautiful speech on how much she loved her and how much her mom means to her. And Kayla broke down in tears. I saw this happen multiple times. So I thought that when Nick posted bond, I'm like, fucking right on, Kayla. There you go. Good job. When I saw that she bonded out too, part of he's just vulgar for the sake of being vulgar. It's always really uncomfortable when Kayla and I would be hanging out. Nick would come upstairs for his break. The one where he said he was saying good. In Spicer, that's what the community did. They turned them in. So I guess they're just grifting too. So all of these nameless well, one of the people was Kayla's sister. So is she a grifter now, Barnes? Is she, she was concerned about us, who has to approve its release. That's what I'm understanding. So Nick, Kayla, or April would have to go, yeah, sure, release the thing. When I last saw, because you got to remember, they were without a nanny for a while. This was all in the affidavit. And then Kayla told the cops that April was the live-in nanny, which is what I understood the situation to be as well. I understood the situation to be, April, I don't enjoy this. I'm going to hang out with my friends. It basically became, I had a choice, unfortunately, because in that lifestyle, you have to, like Kayla said, she goes, I want us to be a family and raise all of our children together. It's fine, buddy. Honky with $1 over on Rumble said, cast it into the fires of Mount Doom, but let present-day Kayla bite your finger off first. Jesus fucking Christ, why? This is the part where it stops being interesting and it starts getting into legal motions and shit like that. I mean, it could be, if Nick and Kayla are going to fight it, it could take a year. It was just P-Dog saying he's going to voice his opinion on this that got me fired up again. But Jesus Christ, I was so heartbroken yesterday when I saw that Kayla did the bond thing. That really admit he has a problem. So maybe that's a lost cause. I don't know. I was like, I've known Kayla, and I know Kayla doesn't want to do all that shit. So I thought she's going to keep the bond. But I remember at one point April telling me, because I would tell Kayla about the wedding and how excited I was to be Gino's groomsman. She would tell Nick about it, and she would be like, I think Nick's kind of sad that he can't go to the wedding. Sorry, Keanu. When we were doing disco, that April and I were going to buy the house next to Nick and Kayla that their trust owns.
That was the first time I heard it as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I'd mentioned it before.
Yeah. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, and Kayla,
oof, you were going hard.
Yeah. Because I remember Kayla would say, I want us to, raise our children together and this, that, and the other thing. And
people.
Bro.
What?
In my old life, in my polycule life, I used to fall asleep with Kayla at 2 a.m.
Okay.
And then I wake up at 4 to leave and go do a show. I can at least make a healthy argument.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was busy freaking out on me. Kayla was from what I hear, this could be bullshit because, everybody's a fucking liar, but Kayla was apparently really heartbroken that night that I wasn't coming back, which again is fucked up.
Yeah.
Me fucked up. You see, I'm divorced.
Is that what raised all the suspicion?
Yeah. And I don't think Kayla wants to talk to me anymore after all the secrets I've revealed. So I think I'm okay here. I don't think this is costing me any warndom. You know what's sick is that Monday, Kayla texted me and she said, I can't talk to you anymore. It's just all a disaster. It's all falling apart. Everybody. I wish April would have been smarter with the way she consumed certain things. Don't stop it. I wish Kayla would have followed through when she asked for help. That would have been great. And I wish Nick wouldn't have been kicked the drugs, kicked the booze. He can't be around either one of them. He cannot have a healthy relationship with either one of them. So I would say I want all of them to get clean. Kayla loves her children. I watched her children hug her and tell her amazing things, and she cried, and she loves her children. I would have been there. But if he was doing a show, that would have meant Kayla and I were hanging out upstairs. So no, we wouldn't have been party to that. Would have been doing that show. April wouldn't have been on camera or anything, but and then Kayla and I would have been in the old bedroom, as it were. Oh, that's what had me worried with April's part when they raided the Rekieta house. It was like Kayla called her the live-in nanny. Some of April's shit is at that house. Like I brought mail, her mail to full-time nanny. Can she claim rights to live at the Rekieta? Well, has she claimed to be a full-time nanny? Kayla said that to the cops. Kayla said she's our live-in nanny. Nick tried to protect his drug buddy and said, oh, no, she's just visiting. Like poly is an LGBTQ thing. That's part of the spectrum. I think Kayla used to say that. She used to go, technically we're on the LGBTQ spectrum. And I was like, very attractive. Like, you guys can say what you want. Kayla, pretty. Like, I just, it's okay. I keep them all closer, trauma bonding and a common enemy. This is real. Kayla's hallway snatch wrote something really good. April over there means that any future trial or questioning. If you don't think Nick is playing Godfather over this whole thing, he's not even letting Kayla get a fucking lawyer. She filed her papers for the judge. How that works. Gray Duckling with $2 says her initials are AA. Thought it should be NA. Well, they did some boozing over there, too, when I was there. I remember Nick and Kayla telling me one time, or no, I think it was Kayla, said Nick and I were talking, and our booze bottles are disappearing really fast around here. And they were kind of hinting toward April. I'm like, you guys want to throw a couple bucks our way? We'll always say yes to you. Kayla's hallway snatch. Nick will parade her on the next stream to throw shade. You might want to. KV Rust Belt, $5. Be fair, the Mustang was a Cobra. I watched Kayla start it in Sartell to go to the bar after the show. I don't fucking know cars. So it's a good one. And then you're going to go back with those two people. And I would say the same thing to Kayla. You're going to go back into that fucking situation. If you think,
why didn't she leave?
Fuck you. And I went, well, I went back to the Rekieta house for a week. Kayla, don't leave.
Wild.
And I'm just like, guys, this is fucked. I've compared it to a black. Not a whole cloth. This is just my theory. Have had conversations where she has said, things like, Kayla's not. I know this because April said this to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Kayla's right for you. I don't think you two are right for each other. I think she wants to be, in her mind that she's in right now, she wants to be with him and would like to push Kayla out of the way. I got a text.
100%.
I got a text from
think
Kayla.
She wants to be in a throuple?
Yeah.
No.
I got a text from Kayla the other day. Not the other day. This was over a month ago, month and a half.
Can I just say I love gossipy girl day?
Yeah. So I get a text from Kayla and she says, because Nick used to go through her phone and read Kayla and I's messages to each other, and he would get incensed, and he would get.
Are you telling me? You're not really telling me that Nick used to go through Kayla's phone to read the messages between you and her. Listen, my kids should have changed their own clothes.
Yeah. So, but Kayla either got into his phone, or this is even more psychologically fucking abusive behavior from him. The vibe I got from Kayla was he like gave her his phone to read his messages, which is like punishing her. Like, here, read this traumatic shit. Like, that's fucking weird abuse. And then acting. I just read their texts and saw what they think of me, and it's fucking heartbreaking. And I'm like, Kayla, like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, Kayla, I could have told you what they thought of you. Like, I could have told you what they. I'm watching this happen to this person, and as I try to confront it, I get yelled at and called a terrible person. Why wouldn't I gravitate more towards Kayla and spend more time with her?
Oh, no, you didn't do anything wrong. Of course.
No, I am through the front door of the prison. And I'm telling you, Kayla could get her kids back if she did all the right things and made all the right moves, but she's going to let that fucking lunatic
have him represent them
off on the booze, and she could go get a nice job like she used to have with decent
and she's
pay,
always
benefits.
been a drinker like all of us, but like nothing like insane.
No.
You know, I think
when Kayla came to me and said, you know, April and Nick are both hitting it really hard. Our liquor bottles are disappearing really.
I don't think, what's her name? The wife?
Kayla.
I don't think she was extremely happy with like another.
That she would go after being arrested. She would go back to that place. Kayla's been living this for 20 years. Imagine how fucking beaten down she is.
Oh, man.
3-person polycule, and one woman clearly wants to take what the other woman has, which I believe April wants to take what Kayla has. I believe that wholeheartedly. The April that we know now, she wants to take what Kayla has. I don't see a mother of 5 who's got up when it's going down. Nick, look, Nick, if you're watching, Nick, April, Kayla, all 3 of you, look at your new hero. Look at me.
Fine, but everybody else, don't you try and bring anybody.
Do you want to hear when I was in the throes of like Kayla had come over to my house after April had cleared like the clothes out of the closet, and Kayla came over and we were talking up in my room, and I may have been a little overcome with emotion. And you know when you're overcome with emotion, your other thing is
100%, right?
Yeah, like I've told this story before, and I'll tell it again. Kayla told me, she goes, when we run out, we're not going to reload. And she said they ran out, and again, this is Kayla, said April threw a fit and said she was going to go herself and get it. And then Nick said, well, I can't let her go down there alone, so I'll just go with her. And Kayla she said, I fought with Nick about not going.
Yeah,
she
but
doesn't
that's
know
just what she's telling
That's
you.
just what's up, April. I snorted up from the blood of lambs.
I snort your ketamine. I snort it up.
I snort your cocaine, Kayla.
We're
swinging. Well, no, those are people almost in their 40s. Like Nick's 42, Kayla's 40, I'm 37. Like, guys, it's time to grow the fuck up.
April then, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Thing in Rumble in all caps. I wanted to go back. Anytime someone has all caps. King of All Yeti says, Kayla was just telling you what she knew you wanted to hear, retard. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Represent himself for honestly.
He's that fucking stupid, yes.
I think he will.
And I don't think he's going to let Kayla get her own lawyer, because that lawyer will tell her, do you want to see your fucking children ever again?
You guys live happily ever after? Like, where does Kayla fit into that? Where are the kids?
Right.
Where's the pug? Like, what are you fucking thinking?
There's no all new. But by the way, my personal theory is Nick wants Kayla gone, and he wants to be with April. Like he fed her coke, he got her kind of roped in and kind of turned her into little mini Nick, and now he wants her, and Kayla can head off somewhere. So that's the theory I'm working with. Nick was telling her all these copes about cocaine and why it was fine, and he just wanted a drug buddy.
Yeah.
Like, because I know Kayla felt guilty about how much they were doing, and I know she would raise questions about it. I think Nick wants more people ratting on him. So he wants to keep everybody nice and close. That's why I said, like, Kayla could save her ass by just telling the truth. Like, if she just came out and talked to CPS and everybody else and told the truth.
Looks like he's trying to take the one that saves his own ass.
He's trying to save his own ass, because I know that the kids not being in the house bothers the shit out of Kayla, but it doesn't bother Nick. I don't think. Your show for a-holes, ungrateful a-holes grifting off the situation. I wish you will. Well, sad for Nick, Ape, and Kayla seem competitive. They are. April wants Kayla's spot. I mean, that's just, in my opinion, that's just the way it is. Like, she wants Kayla's spot. And I think she's going to get it because April's willing to do whatever Nick wants. She is.
Well, if Kayla's going to wake up, if she's going to wake up from anything, this is, I don't know how much deeper in you can get before you realize if you want out like you've
changed shit, like not.
Yeah, because that plan totally worked.
Yeah, right. Well, I also think, I don't think Kayla's feelings for me, and she may say now that they were totally authentic and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying she's lying, but I think Kayla would have loved anyone who wasn't Nick at that point. Like
just someone in the situation.
Kayla would have loved a reprieve from her relationship, no matter who it was. I don't doubt her sincerity, the hold she had over Nick, and April. Oh my God, would April say the fucking shittiest things about Kayla in private? Oh my God, like her and Nick sitting me down while Kayla was asleep one time. They sat me down in the bathroom, and they were just talking shit about Kayla. And like April was like, I have watched her hurt this man so many times. But then, all right, that's interesting. And Kayla would always say like she feels like April's trying to be a younger me, and you know, April would say she doesn't know how to treat him and blah blah blah. Like April was her, and you could tell that she was trying to do that because her and Nick would constantly be paranoid and say, "You and Kayla are trying to bring up swapping partners and just being with each other and us being together." It's like,
how long do you get to keep that gig before we find another new lady?
Yeah, so whoever said that, the April and Kayla seem competitive, there's a lot of dislike there. There's a lot of dislike and distrust there, and for good reason. Like, I've heard both of them talk about each other. It ain't good, especially the way April talks about Kayla. I mean, it's really fucking shitty. So fuck that. That's just you trying to keep me on the hook so you can keep this charade going. Horseshit, absolutely not. And then Kayla, are you sure we can't have a relationship? This thing is fucked 6 ways this Sunday. I gotta go.
Or at least 4 ways.
But he would look at how she treats me. And it's really, like, he's trying to set this up, probably with Kayla too, is like us against the world. Because if they're insulated with him, he can control the narrative, the defense. He's going to lead these people in divorce. You both had to, it takes two. You both had to fuck this up pretty hard. That's like when April would trash the shit out of Kayla when she would talk to me, which is fucking weird. Like, just, guys, don't wife swap. It's just fucking awkward and strange and fucking did one standing up. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, when I was hanging out with Kayla a lot, and, you know, Kayla and I never watched his show. We just didn't. We had other shit to do.
It's boring.
It's boring as fuck. We'll do our best to pump it up, I guess. He did address Kayla and his kids. Remember, we've been saying this fucking narcissist has said nothing about how we want. They all kept that shit to themselves. Hey, people at the church in Spicer, couldn't you have clued me in that I was fucked up? It would have been helpful. Kayla's sister, who also reported them, you know, she's in the search warrant affidavit. I remember talking to her at Kayla's family's Easter. And I was talking to her, and I was thinking about that. Like, days, I think I've told this story before, days before they were arrested, a family member of Kayla's reached out to me and said, I know you and I want, this is after my rants about get clean, get help, blah, blah, blah.
It was fun.
Oh, my God. April would be so fucking manic. And then she would go to Kayla and she would just be like, I just want to let you know that I love you so much and I really do care about you. Because that one was fucking perfect. And it did rattle me to my core. And it rattled Kayla to her core. And I think it rattled Nick to his core, but he started making excuses. And they've been on Nick hard. But by the way, the Kino Casino guys, I have something to report. I think Nick lied to Kayla about the Kino Casino dudes. Because, you know, when I was there, like I would talk to them, I'd be like, I saw a fucking funny Kino Casino clip. Oh, about our hot tub stream. I told Nick and Kayla, I'm like, dude, it was pretty fucking funny. Like, Johnny and I watched it on the show. Those guys, I mean, they did a pretty good job. And Kayla was like, that Andy Worski, he said one time that I tried to give him a hand job. And she's like, Nick said that he tried, blah, blah, blah. And Nick would tell me this elaborate story about Andy Worski. Said, oh, yeah, Kayla walked him home drunk, and then he went public and said she tried to give him a hand job. And I asked Andy Worski, like, no, I never said, he said it on the air. He's like, I never said she tried to give me a hand job. No, I said she was flirting with me at the bar. And Kayla is kind of a flirty girl. So I can see that happening. It's not a crime. There's nothing wrong with that. So I think Nick probably got embarrassed by Andy and didn't want, Kayla thinking it was just hurt pride. So he made something up, which it wouldn't be the first time. Toasty with the Mosty says Nick looks cross-eyed. Well, he's stressed. Jess Weg says Nick and Kayla never partied in their 20s. This is why you do blow in your 20s before kids. He smoked a cigar. And I got out, and Kayla, looked up at me because my eyes, because I was kind of fuck, I was gone a little bit. Kayla, grabbed me by the face. She goes, are you okay? And I looked down at her. I go, changing who she was as a person while your wife was fucking begging. While Kayla fucking begged you to stop. We got to cut back. We got to get rid of this shit. We got to. They are unrecognizable. Oof. So wait a minute. April and Nick are getting pizza. Is Kayla out of the house?
I have no idea. I don't follow this anywhere near as closely as you do.
Oh. So, you know what? That's kind of fucking ballsy to just go out in your hometown with your fucking mistress while everyone kind of knows what the fucking deal is. Wow.
Well, unless Kayla's not there anymore, now it's just the two of you are a couple. But I have no idea. But if Kayla is still there and you're still living with her, yeah, it's gonna be really, really weird. Be like, hi, I need that meat lovers pizza.
Oof. I've made the prediction already. It's gonna end up being those two, and that'll be the best thing for Kayla, in my opinion. Let's play this guy. Let's go to this January 6th dude. Said about her, so she would hate them too because he didn't like that they were making fun of him. I asked Worski, I go, Nick says that you lied and said that Kayla tried to give you a hand job. He's like, what? No, I didn't. He said, all I ever said was that she was flirting with me.
Generally speaking, as far as addiction goes, I think so.
See, he found someone in April. Like Kayla was always the person who would go, I'd like to stop.
Yeah.
I think this needs to be done. But it wasn't Aaron tried pulling her out and she was like, well, maybe, perhaps. That was really more Kayla than April.
Mm-hmm.
But with April, it was, I don't even have a problem. I'm fine. Fuck.
Right, they're an addict.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not an addict.
Like, first of all, I've never had to defend myself from that because nobody's ever accused it. But even on those days where I was sleeping over with Kayla or whatever, and I was really tired on the shows, you'd never look at me and go, Aaron, this thing's going to end up with Nick and April. She's a much better drug buddy, Kayla having her doubts and all. And she probably wants to be a mom again and wants to get her shit together. But April didn't give a fuck. And she'll tell Nick that everything he's doing is fine, whereas Kayla might confront him once in a while. And narcissists don't like that. So it'll end up with those two. And then, at least one of the parents will. Venmo links are in the chat, and the super chats are coming in. Elza Belza says, poor Kayla not getting to do the fun stuff. Well, look, maybe it's because she's a narcissist, and I know you want to control everyone around your case, but, set her free. Do what you want to. We all know what you want to do. Kayla and I both said from the beginning, and you bit our heads off about it. Kayla and I both said from the beginning, we're like, I feel like this was kind of set up just so you two could get together. What? How dare you? You can't. Yeah, so it's just, that's sad, man. That's kind of sad. Like, if you're Kayla, unless you're not in the house. Oh, my God. This is.
Are we talking about the lady after the first marriage?
King of all Yetis says Kayla.
Oh, dude. Jesus Christ.
Much like April. Wow. That's really something, man.
Look, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to keep Kayla in my mind. I've never boned her. So I just I haven't had that experience.
Johnny, what's the common theme with all these April and Nick sightings?
I haven't seen anyone mention Kayla. Is she doing okay?
No Kayla.
We have an update on Kayla.
And, every time Nick gets asked a question about her on one of his shitty streams, are just flaunting their relationship around town, as people say they are, while they're facing felony charges, and Kayla's still at home. Have some fucking dignity, dude. Have some respect for yourself and ski the fuck daddle. What are you? He picked wrong with me, and he picked wrong with Keanu, and I think he picked wrong with his old maid or his old nanny, because the old nanny told Kayla, I just can't take this shit anymore, and she had to get out. So, like, shit. So I'm here. They look fucking terrible. And like one of them was like a Kayla and Nick sighting at Walmart, and they said, oh, they look like zombies. And then the last two have been April and Nick getting a pizza at Zorba's, and April and Nick getting a burger and Blizzards at DQ. And I'm like, really? No Kayla. So either Kayla's the fuck out of there, which would be smart on her part, and she's getting better, or Kayla's smart enough to go, yeah, we're kind of persona non grata in this community, and everyone thinks we're the scum of the earth. Maybe not the best idea to parade your fucking... Something that was at the church that we went with, April and I went to Nick and Kayla's church. And you know how in that search warrant, it said society to believe that... I'm like, beaten down by society. They're just reading the fucking word of God. Like, aren't you a Christian? You believe in this shit. And Kayla's like, I believe God put us all here to love each other, and he wouldn't let us do that if he didn't have a plan. And I'm like, oh, my boobs get me all lusty. Well, see, that's a sin. BJ with $5 says, Aaron, Nick, April, Kayla, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The apocalypse. Like, I got sat down by April and Nick so many times to talk so they could tell me what a problem Kayla was in this whole thing.
And that's blow. Don't you think? Because like you're
other thing, I would always go like, can we take the kids to the mall? Can we? I remember one time, this was so heartbreaking. Kayla and I were going to take the kids to the mall. And just because I was
blown girlfriend.
I had a full-blown girlfriend. And so I had, Jesus Christ. So Kayla and I were going to go to the mall and bring the kids there because I'm dying to get out of the house. Actually, earlier that week, I had told her, I go, let's control of the souls of these people moment. I poked my head in the bedroom. I go, I'm going to take the kids to the mall, Kayla. Let's go. And she looked over at me with like puppy dog eyes. And
of maybe what was going on too. I think that Kayla ended up having feelings for you.
She was she fully admitted.
She was sort of thrown at you.
I don't think that's being a doofus. I think that's being a guy. So, I don't know. This came from the Kayla Mall story, for Christ's sake. But
yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's stay on track, or else we'll be here until 6 p.m. Right. So Kayla Mall story.
Yeah. So she doesn't go to the mall, and I go to the mall with the kids, and it was a night for him. So I'm like, I want to go to the mall, and I want to get my son a baseball bat. And maybe go.
Who's with me?
And then Kayla and I were going to take the kids to a movie. My girlfriend and I were going to take the kids to a movie while my wife and her, Jesus fucking Christ,
limp dicked. What did Camelot say? And you were stopping them from the that thing that they needed. And Kayla too. I'm telling you, like same thing. Even though she'd be like, well, once we're done with this one, we're
been spotted all over town picking up
Dairy
food,
Queen,
eating, right? And Kayla nowhere. I mean,
I'm glad if Kayla's like, okay, fuck this, I'm out.
But there's also the possibility that Kayla's just holed up in the bedroom and just doing what she's always done. And it's like, I agree with you. And maybe this might be me just saving my own pride, but I do believe this in my heart of hearts. I do believe it started out, Kayla and I were like the B-side couple in the whole thing, just kind of like, okay, keep him busy, so, whatever. I think didn't expect her to behave the way she did, because I would get sat down and be told, you and Kayla are doing too much. You guys look at each other a certain way in public, and you guys talk a certain way in public, and you're going to give away this whole thing because she stares at you and looks at you in a way that it's going to give away everything. I think that Nick definitely was taken aback by the way Kayla reacted to everything.
I've thought about this a lot. Yeah. I think that's a ruse.
No.
Well, we're going to trick him by saying you're getting too close to
They
Kayla.
were both on coke, and they just both became people where I was like, I remember saying to Kayla once, like, April came in and she's like, guys, what are we going to do today? And she was like all geeked out. And I looked at Kayla when she left the room. I go, I know this is wrong to say, but like, I don't even like that person. Like, I really don't like that person.
Would
Like-
you say that
like, not
Caleb
like-
is
not
doing
like I
less
don't-
blow than the rest of them, or
I'm not fucking.
that's because you have a coke dick, and he doesn't. Yeah,
No,
okay.
They
It's
would
like-
blame Kayla. They would be like, well, Kayla texts Nick and asks when we're coming back upstairs. And that just ruins the whole thing. I'm like, I was like, April, if you text me and asked me when we were coming back in the morning. Yeah. Well, she was clearly, I mean, when she cleaned out her closet and took all her clothes, she brought them right to Nick and Kayla's bedroom. That's when Kayla cried to me. She's like, another fucking woman has moved into my house and he's just okay with it. And
Thank God, no. Right.
All right.
Oh, but I thought April wasn't living there at the time.
and then Kayla,
Oh, there's going to be something that you're going to just die over, too. Okay.
Kayla ratted her out to the cops too. She said, oh yeah, that's our live-in nanny
Yeah. Oh, wait about.
for an NDA.
Yeah,
The
like
April-
April's going to be like,
April would
I
never
want an
ask for an
NDA.
NDA. Nick sicked
this
Kayla.
is why
Yeah.
she's not texting for herself
Right.
at all.
Nick
Oh.
sicked April and Kayla on me to keep me quiet. 100% I believe that. So April's like, I want an NDA. Well, luckily, and you go, you can read what April and I have said about you. And it's like, why would you put someone through that? And Kayla told me, she goes, it was the most horrible shit I've ever read. Like, they were really fucking mean about me. It was horrible to see what they thought about me. And I'm like, Kayla, I told you April's been talking about you.
I'd love to read that.
Oh my God.
I'm
So
just kidding.
April has been.
About you, what they've said about
No,
you?
about Kayla. About what April and Nick have said about
I
Kayla.
thought they were talking shit about you. And then I was
No.
like, we should read that on the air. That'd be hilarious.
No, like this was full on basically swapped at this point. And she was like, Kayla is so bad to him. Kayla is terrible to him. And she is awful. And she is not right for him. And blah, blah. There was one night where Nick asked us not to come over because Kayla wanted to spend the night hanging out with Nick in his studio while he did his show.
Oh, but that's April's weirdness.
Let me tell you the cult shit he probably does. He probably tells her, oh, thank you so much. You know, Kayla never appreciated this and she never respected this space the way
and you're very special and you're being victimized by this doofus.
And by the way, you ask Kayla what the story is. Fucking Nick would talk shit about her constantly on his stream, talk about how
telling her, in my opinion, what to say.
Yeah.
Or him just give me your phone. I'll say it for
wonder,
you.
because he reads Kayla's text, I wonder if he didn't read how cordial and nice friends are telling me that you're saying nasty things about me on the show.
Who are her
I've
friends?
now realized, I thought her friends
Yeah.
were Kayla. Her friends were Nick. Nick was listening to the show.
Who
and
are her other friends?
I think Nick's sad that he can't come to the wedding. I go, and I told her,
Ew.
and this is even when like Kayla was talking to me about, oh, are we going to the wedding? And I told all of them. And again, this is the sober person talking.
As he states, then he.
Oh my God, this
And a
guy
new
is so
paragraph.
fucking bad at brainwashing. I feel bad for Kayla and April because this kind of exposes how stupid they are.
I
Like-
know, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Guns and kids in the messy house? No.
And honestly, you don't know where your family is right now. It doesn't seem like you're with Kayla. Your children aren't with
How
you.
about
so-
in all this, he's never defended his wife once. We appreciate it. Kong with $5 says, Kiki, Nick's messages sound like he's trying to get you to join April and Kayla with him for a four-way.
Yeah, I'd rather literally die.
I will.
And that she was not in jail anymore.
Let me
I'm
tell you
like,
this,
what
Nick.
Do you find? We all saw it, douchebag.
Kayla told the police that she was your live-in nanny. The police are watching you. They know she's on your property.
Exhausted.
Yeah.
The fact that he's not thinking about his own children.
Right. Or Kayla.
I'm a nobody. Or Kayla or anybody. I'm a nobody to him. To go on and on and on like that.
I called her parents. I talked to them, and I'm not going to talk to them twice because I'm not going to overstep like that. One of Kayla's relatives got in touch with me while they were or the day before they got arrested and said, I think you and I want the same thing. She goes, you're a little more blunt than I am. But she said, I know Kayla wants help. And I said, look, I don't really want to travel into that again. Watching this, please drink more water. It's very good advice.
Oh, she tried.
Red Fox Mad with $4.99 says, so if you're listening, get away from Nick and Kayla. Go to Catholic Charities or someplace that has resources to help you. No, her parents.
Stupid douche. We're just teasing. April, come back to me. Call me anytime.
Cynthia with $5 says, Aaron, was Kayla's sister actively organizing an intervention? I don't know. I can't speak to that. All I know is Kayla's sister was in the search warrant as one of the people complaining about behaviors and all of that stuff. And Utah evangelical church doesn't understand is they're very prudish and they keep up. So he explained it away. Then Kayla's like, no, but God would understand the love we all have for each other. And I'm like, and this was my problem in being the sober person with 3.
I'm speechless.
Did I ever tell you the story where I was having a root beer one night and Kayla said, why are you drinking root beer? I'm like, well, I went out last night and I had a little too much drink. I don't like to drink.
That's the weirdest thing ever. I don't understand why.
All right, let's go to this Bible verse. So when I was at their church and April was there and the kids were there and Nick and Kayla were there, this was there's always a main verse. We'll get to the Bible verse first, and then we'll see what kind of time we have. Okay. So this was the Bible passage that was read when April and I went to church with Nick and Kayla and the kids. And again, you tell me.
Imholte, are you really
taking it that way?
They would snort it.
So they snorted it, and I was
hardcore.
I was in there with Kayla. I was like, Kayla, we shouldn't really do it that way. She's like, why? And I pointed at it. And I go, look, to talk like as much.
We knew you were going through it, but you seemed okay enough to
right.
You know.
I was like I said, this whole thing has really taught me to check myself often. And one of the things I realized was I'm mentally ill enough right now that I walk around. I knew I had a fucking problem when I started crying over Kayla and not crying over April. And I was like, dude, you're fucked up. You need to cut this shit out right now because this is insane.
I would love to be a fly. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall. I would love to pick their brains on what they actually thought about that. Wow.
Was a little late.
Well, so what do you think is in her brain right now?
Kayla's?
So April moved in, she moved her clothes in. Kayla
and I wrote to April, I go, you probably should get out of there. Because these are the texts I'm getting from Kayla. And she immediately went on the defensive and April goes, April said
that to you?
Yes.
Oh man.
So that disdain she has for Kayla worries me. So if you're asking me what I think Kayla's doing.
Well, it's not, you're gone. So it's not going to, okay, we're sister wives.
My head, right? So,
yeah.
but
I mean, one of them has to go. It's not going to be.
And Kayla will be pushed out because April's been trying to push Kayla out since I was there. In fact, when Kayla and I ever mentioned the idea or the possibility, is this just turning into Kayla and I and you and Nick? Is that what this is kind of turning into? Her and Nick would both get really defensive and yell at us.
It's fucking wild.
It's fucking crazy, right? So
I can't even fucking imagine.
Yeah, wow. I don't know. I knew from Kayla keeping in touch and texting after I had left, I knew that things were not going well. Clipper show. I go, no, I'm sure she'd love it. Go ahead.
She's lovely. And I'm like, you do a good job. I don't care.
You know what the thing is? This is another person Nick manipulated, and he used it to manipulate Kayla too. So this Alyssa Clips was a Nick fan. And then she kind of started to putting up clips that kind of showed his hypocrisy and when he was drunk and when he was all fucking. So he told Kayla, because Kayla didn't like that I watched this Alyssa Clips channel. I was like, I think these are interesting clips that she puts up. And I like the Keno Casino guys. I think they're funny.
Well, because Nick was sitting right there. Yeah.
So I'm guessing Nick hates Andy Worski for that. And he told Kayla that Nick said that because Kayla doesn't like to do a lot of internet stuff. So Kayla would hate him too. And then
manipulator.
It on the air. And I did the same thing with this Alyssa Clips. And she goes, no, I never said that. She goes, one time I called Kayla our wife. I thought that was a funny thing because Nick said it once. I didn't know that it was a Kiwi Farms thing that insulted Kayla. I didn't mean to call her that. I thought it was a funny Nick thing.
But also, it's not.
I need to go. But did I ever tell you the stories where she would say, why don't you just admit to me you love Kayla? And I'm like, well, I do. I do.
You're right. That is a.
Because we were having a really bad fight about drugs. She goes, and if you and I ever broke up, I'm not leaving Nick. And Nick said that if he ever leaves Kayla, he's not going to leave me. And I'm like, April, that's kind of, this was towards the end. And I'm like, that's really fucked up that we're even talking about that. And I go, hey, let's pick on a guy for a little bit because their show sucks or they don't do a show where they're not any good. Subscribe, share, the whole thing.